All right, it is the 100th episode of the Soscast. We are partying here. We got Nat in the house. Thank you, Natalya. She wanted to pop that thing real bad, and I'm not talking about the streamer. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us for episode 100. Shout out to the live audience. We got Big Game James in the house out here. Rebecca's man. Welcome to the Soscast here on Valuetainment, the sexiest financial podcast in the world. This is where finance meets romance. My name is Adam Sosnick. As you know, you called me Sos, and I got here one goal. I want to see you guys out there get paid, laid, and do it your way. And I said for my 100th episode, I want to bring some of my favorite people that we've ever had on the Soscast here on Valuetainment on, and this is what we got. So let's introduce our panel, starting with the good-looking gentleman all the way on the opposite corner, because I'm sure we're gonna, clash a little bit, so we don't want to be too close. But my good friend Destiny is in the house. He just got back from Tim Pool's podcast. You only had, 50,000 people watching you live yesterday. No big deal for a guy like you. How you feeling, Destiny?
It's just another Friday night for me,
Just another?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That was Thursday night, though, when you were there.
Okay, what? I don't know if this is live or not. Okay, I'm trying to be considered. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay.
We got Destiny here.
Anyway, thanks, I'm flattered that you invited me to your 100th episode.
Thank you, Destiny.
I don't know how many
I'm a
people
fan
said
of you.
no for me to get here, but
There were so many no's to get to Destiny's yes, but I appreciate it. I said I get room for one man, and I got Destiny. So thank you, Destiny. New guest in the house, Miss Florence Garcia. We call her Flo. She is known as Miss Grand Florida. She's from El Salvador, not Ecuador. She's a lovely model. And last week, for those of you that have not realized, we haven't done a Soscast in well over a week because we were at model volleyball filming, which was sick. You stole the show. You were incredible. I said, let's invite this girl on the show. And then we were at Ultra last weekend filming. That's kind of your people there, Brody. But we got Flo in the house, so clap it up for Flo on her. So we'll try to go easy on Flo. Superstar right here, Rebecca Barrett's in the house. Former feminist, current very happy housewife to our friend James over there. She's back. Thank you for making the trip. What do people need to know about what's going on in your life right now?
Trying to make baby number 2.
Trying to make baby number 2. With that good-looking gentleman over there doing his little pumping sign out there, I think you'll happen pretty soon. And then Brody's back.
Hi.
You love her, you want her, you need her. We all need some Brody in our life. Blogger, commentator.
Sure.
Sometimes bartender.
When I have time.
When she has time, but she's in the house. But thank you guys for being here for episode 100. And we would be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to the lovely NatalyaDelvalle out there.
Hi.
Nat, my little co-hostess with the mostest, popping that thing. Nat, how you feeling? What do you want the crowd to know before we get started?
Well, first off, thank you all for joining us today. I appreciate all of you in the chat, all of you. I see you guys watching. We see you. Thank you for coming along the journey with us. Of course, if you're not already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Today's episode is going to be very, very spicy, a lot of hot topics. And today you're really going to get the sauce out of the Soscast. So let's get this party started.
Too much sauce. Too much sauce. So with that being said, look, we got a lot to cover today. So brace for impact. A lot going on right there. Here's some of the topics we're going to cover. But then there was some breaking news that we're going to reveal here if you haven't heard yet. But here's some of the topics that we're going to be discussing today. American values. We do live in America. We love America, at least most of us do, are plummeting. American values are plummeting to the lowest in 25 years. Gen Z's latest trend that is sweeping the nation called bare minimum Mondays. We'll talk about that and work ethic. We'll talk about a Miami story right here since we're all here in South Florida, Miami. The crypto party has come to an end and what basically hospitality and nightlife has been, how it's been affected by that. Giselle, Tom Brady, their new relationships, what Tom Brady's rumored new girlfriend had to say about modern women being entitled witches, looking for men as walking wallets. Talk about the difference between men being silver foxes and women being silver vixens. That's a new term that women are using these days. Talking of, how they say about pimping ain't easy? Apparently simping ain't easy. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some money stuff and what women expect from a man's money. We'll talk about traditional traditional women, and some of them are under attack. And we'll talk about this last story, if we have time, about what a man should do if her woman is withholding sex, what he should do. Should he charge her more in rent? So we'll talk about that. But let's get started with this first story. This is breaking news. I don't even know if you guys know about this, but drum roll, please. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were just released from prison. They are now on house arrest. This is breaking news that just came down the pike from the AP. So here's the news article. Andrew Tate and his brother and 2 alleged female accomplices are released on house arrest from Bucharest jail amid investigations to alleged human trafficking, rape, and crime gang offenses. Andrew Tate and his brother and 2 alleged female accomplices have been released on house arrest from Bucharest jail amid an ongoing investigation into alleged human trafficking. Tate, 36, was arrested December 29th, so today's the 31st of March, so that's 3 months ago, in Bucharest, along with Tristan, 2 Romanian women, Luana Radu and Georgina Nagzel, 32 and 28, on suspicion of several crimes. So they are now officially released. I'll give you my take, and then we can all weigh in or not weigh in. Here's the deal. I've been saying for months that these are sort of trumped up charges. Okay? I know Destiny's gonna push back a lot, which I totally cool for. And what I will say before any of us speak, these are all our opinions. We got no fucking clue what's actually happening in corrupt AF Romania, Bucharest. Well, we all know that Andrew Tate rose to fame over the last year with everything he was saying about the Matrix. A lot of what he was talking about was male improvement. And if you can reach a certain level of masculinity and manhood and alpha status, then the world can be your oyster. Most men don't reach that. Most men are not where Destiny or I am right now, or Andrew Tate certainly. So most men cannot say or do what this man has to say. He's certainly reached a point, especially with his gifted speaking abilities, athletic prowess, and some say womanizing abilities. He's reached a point where obviously his audience really wants to hear what he has to say. And I know there's a lot of people out there excited to hear that he's been released on house arrest. And there's a lot of people out there that are basically disappointed that they didn't find anything on him. And that's my final point. You've had this guy and his brother in custody for nearly 4 months. The world has been on a magnifying glass looking at what this guy's got going on. And the Romanian government has nothing. They've been officially charged with nada, for my Spanish speakers out there, right, in El Salvador. Nada. In 4 months, they have not come up with jack shit. I'm not saying that it's officially an acquittal, but if you're going to have somebody in custody for 4 months and you've got nothing going on, it's kind of like a little evidence that maybe it was sort of corruption going on there and they're just looking for charges. So with that being said, I know Destiny is chomping at the bit to weigh in on this. So Destiny, give us your opinion. Do you think are you happy to see Tate out? Are you disappointed? Do you want him to stay in jail?
I'm going to
do you want him rotting in a cell? What do you want?
From the very beginning,
Go ahead,
you have
sir.
to wait for the process to play itself out.
Okay.
Half of what you're saying is not true. He hasn't been released. They've been released to house arrest.
Released on house arrest.
Yeah, but they're still detained, same as they were before. So they're
technically,
still
he has been released from prison.
Sure.
He's
but
on house arrest.
He's still detained in such that an investigation is still ongoing.
Touché.
Number one.
Yes.
Number two, we still don't know if they have charges for them. They could still be waiting to charge them until they finish their investigation. But then number three, and I'll repeat again, you just have to wait for the investigation to play itself out. I think it's weird that all of the people that are big Tate fans are saying that this is like a big victory for them, because if all the charges were trumped up and it was some huge conspiracy, why are they getting released now? Wouldn't they have kept them for the whole 180 days? Like, if it is the case that they do their investigation, they're released to house arrest, and then in 30 days, they're completely released and there's no charges, what happened to all of the Matrix is locking them up and it's trumped up charges and blah, blah, blah? If that was the case, why wouldn't they have kept them for the full 180 days or like fake charges and just charge them with something not real?
Isn't that a little counterintuitive to what you're saying? That possibly they're like, we got nothing on this guy, so the longer that we keep him in there, the more foolish we're going to look. So let's just put him on house arrest. Let's acknowledge that we have nothing, but we're not going to just completely acquit him. So we'll put him out there, we'll put him on house arrest, and we'll slow play this. Almost like slow playing the news, like let's roll this thing out. All right, hey, charges have been dropped, but this is the big news. So when they do drop charges, potentially, hypothetically, then it won't be that grandiose.
Sure. You ever talk to people that invest in stocks, like individual stocks?
All the time.
It's similar to gambling in that you can invent any reason to buy a stock if you really want to. It might be fundamentals of a company. It might be maybe somebody's going to say something about a company. Maybe like you can always find a reason to do what you want to do if you're really trying to bullshit your way there. I feel like when it comes to the Tates, anything can happen, and it's going to be further justification of the conspiracy against him. So if they would have held him longer, it's because the trumped up charges and the corrupt Romanian government were trying to hold him for too long to maximize how much time they spend away from their kids. If they released them, well, it's because it was all trumped up in the very beginning and they didn't have real charges, and now they're trying to release them to house arrest. If they do charge them, well, it's going to be the fake Matrix is coming after. Like, if they convict them, then it's going to be absolutely the fake Matrix. If they get charged and then they don't get convicted, well, it's because the charges were charged. Like, literally, no matter what happens, there's always like a reason why it was like the Matrix. What if it was the case that there's a legitimate investigation? They have or haven't found enough to charge him yet. We don't know, but maybe they do find enough, and maybe they don't. But maybe it started with like good impetus. Is that possible, or is that just like it's unfathomable to think?
I think anyone would be foolish to say anything's not possible at this point. Nobody knows anything.
Well, yeah,
this
but
is
you're
all
clearly
speculative.
leaning into a side where it's like,
I'm leaning into a side, and let's play a game that's called odds, right? Odds that he's guilty and odds that he's innocent. So these are odds. I'm going with odds that there's 90% chance that he's innocent.
Wait,
Meaning,
is it odds?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you mean that he's like actually innocent, or that he's like acquitted or like charged with a crime?
I guess both, because I mean,
well, essentially, I would say the majority of Tate fans, if he got convicted of a crime, they'd still say he's innocent, right?
Well, that to me, that's like we just talked about this off camera about like the famous Donald Trump, situation. Not that I'm equating Donald Trump to Andrew Tate, but I could literally murder somebody, shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and I wouldn't lose a vote. It's like. Well, you just murdered somebody. You'd probably lose something. You're innocent at that point. Yeah, right. You lose that guy's vote for sure. Destiny, but this is my speculation, is that, remember the story in Greek mythology, Icarus flew too close to the sun, right? Yes. That he flew too close to the sun, and his wings were melted off, and he fell. I think Andrew Tate rose to fame so quickly, along with his brother, but specifically Andrew, rose to fame so quickly, called out the wrong people, called out the Matrix and the government and women and this. But I think, the foundation of why he's being arrested right now is that he called out the Romanian government, essentially saying, every country's corrupt. I just love the fact that in Romania, it's even more corrupt, and I can just pay my way out of this. Some federal prosecutor in Bucharest, Romania was like, I don't think so, my friend. Let me show you what I told you. Boom, book him, Dano. So I think they're basically said, let's throw the book at this guy. And they arrested him. And they're scrambling at this point for like, what can we find? What can we find? What can we find? What can we find? All right, we've got nothing. And to your point, they could have easily just kept him because I think legally not any of us are Romanian fucking government authorities here, but they legally could have kept him till end of June, I want to say, 180 days. But they didn't. So I'm going with odds that he's 90% innocent, and then there's a small chance that they might find something. What are your odds?
When you say odds on that, do you mean like really? Like if I would have bet you like $1,000, you'd pay me $10,000 if I was right. I'd give you $1,000 if I was wrong. You'd do like 9 to 1. I'm just curious. When you say 90%, do you really feel...
Are you a Vegas bookie right now? You're going to come break my legs if I don't pay? What's happening, Destiny?
Those are big odds.
I know you roll with some heavy hitters on the center-left camp. I don't need Sam Bankman-Fried coming out collecting his dough.
You said 90%. You gave
What are your odds that he's acquitted and this is...
Based on everything that I've seen from him, I feel like there's a decent chance he'll get charged and convicted. That's what I feel.
So give me some odds.
So I would lean like 65, 70% that he would get...
That he's guilty, convicted... Yeah. So there's a 30% chance in your world that he's innocent.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies. Okay, we're talking about Andrew and Tristan here because I think if one goes down, they both go down. We'll see. I see you're doing a lot of nodding, Flo. Let's have you weigh in on this. By the way, have you followed this story at all? Are you a fan? Did you hate Andrew Tate?
Off. I don't hate him. Yeah. I'm on and off because I feel like we can't really trust everything that we see on social media. It is what it is.
Yep.
Can we hear me better?
Yes. Flip it like this. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. So I want to say 50-50 with the case. Like I said, I've followed it on and off. I haven't been on it entirely. But what I can say is whenever someone is guilty, they are guilty. Whenever someone is innocent, they are innocent until proven guilty. So it is what it is. I think I do agree with Destiny here when he was saying that we just have to let it play out, see how it works. But even then, there's been people that have been convicted in a fake scenario, and they've wasted their lives. There was actually someone in Florida, I believe he was convicted for like 38 years, and he was released, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, our mistake."
Yeah,
That's
insane.
38 years of his life that he's not gonna get back, and so it's really just a matter of time, and one of those situations where you can't trust all that we see.
What you're
Because-
saying is if it can happen in America, corruption can happen, or just wrongful convictions can happen anywhere.
I agree.
So what are your odds, if you're going to play this game, that he's innocent versus guilty?
I'll do 50-50. I'll do 50.
Way to take the easy way out.
We're gonna
flip
just-
a coin. Rebecca Barrett in the house. I know this is a story you follow pretty closely, not like every day, but I'm sure you've got some feelings. What do you think?
I actually haven't been following this story after the fact. I don't know. When he went to prison, I was like, okay. I was just like, well, that's what happened.
The docile Rebecca, okay, it doesn't affect me.
No. It doesn't affect me.
Correct.
I would say 80-20. He's acquitted, 80%.
Okay, so you're more closer to my camp
Yeah.
than the Destiny camp.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we'll see what happens. I always want to wait until we have a conviction because, the public opinion is, they already made their verdict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already know, just like Destiny said, people that think it's a conspiracy theory is going to say, oh, whatever happens, it's still a conspiracy theory. People that want to see him in prison or want to see them in prison, whatever, like, they're going to be mad whatever happens, I think. People are going to be mad regardless, so we'll just wait and see.
Who's going to be the most upset if he's found innocent?
That he's found innocent, the people that hate him the most.
Who do you think hates him the most?
Probably women. I don't know. Probably women, I think.
Yeah, Destiny, who do you think hates him the most?
Me.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's like a garbage human being. It's just the easiest person in the world to hate.
My question is,
Why?
will he
Oh.
be able to live stream on house arrest?
He should be able to, right?
We'll see. We'll see about
That's
that.
the only thing I'm curious about is he going to start doing his lives again? Because he's going to be making money at home.
All right, so here's a question. If he is able to live stream, will he be as popular as he was?
More.
More popular or less popular?
More.
Even more.
So you think that this is going to be something that's going to backfire against the people that want to see his downfall?
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's only going to come back stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Destiny,
people
would you
wanna
agree to that as well?
If just as
I know,
somebody
we
that's-
know you're not tuning
yeah,
into
no,
his live
as somebody
stream.
that's been in the internet for a long time,
Yes.
this is like my feeling. My
Yeah.
feeling is that when he comes back immediately, he'll get really popular. But I feel like we're kind of moving on from a lot of like the big red pill explosive popularity stuff. So unless he changes up and starts talking about other stuff, I feel like it's going to wane a little bit.
Do you think he will change things up?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know how long. He's only been in internet content at like for what, like a year or two?
A couple years, yeah.
Yeah, surviving.
But he
for a
was
long-
doing stuff.
He was doing non-internet stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the question is, will he remain like not politically, like popular on social media? Finding people. I've been doing this for 12 years. Every like 3 years, it's a whole new cast and crew that comes in and out because it's really hard for people to keep things like fresh. And you can find a lot of YouTube channels where people have 2, 3, 4, 5 million subs that post videos for like 15,000 viewers. So yeah, I feel like when he comes out initially, especially if he's streaming under house arrest, those are going to be huge streams.
So-
but then I feel like just in general, like the red pill stuff is kind of going, and we're going to kind of see what the next phase of internet content is.
And
That's
so
the feeling,
one quick question, and we'll come to Brody. I like what you're saying because you're saying that every couple of years you kind of got to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
If you're doing the same thing you were doing 12 years ago.
Nobody does that. Nobody was doing what they were doing 5 years ago and is like still popular.
Gotcha.
They're,
So
like,
give me
really
a little timeline for Destiny here. So 12 years you're doing what? 10 years ago what? 5 years ago what? Now versus today.
I mean, 12 years ago, I started playing StarCraft 2. That was like the start of streaming. I did that for a few years. Then I kind of broke out and did like League of Legends / like variety games.
So you were doing all gaming stuff
yeah,
12
all
years
games.
ago.
I did that
Gotcha.
to be more like a personality rather than just like
No
professional
political
StarCraft.
stuff, no red pill, blue pill stuff at all at that point.
No, and then
Got it.
2016, I started doing political stuff, and then
Well,
I
that
was
was
like
at the height of the Trump
stuff,
election.
yeah.
Got it.
And I was like the first like left-leaning like debate bro, so big asshole, like you. And then no, I'm just kidding. You're nice.
Subtle jab.
And then like 2019, 2020, and onwards, I've kind of like mellowed out as all men do as they age, and now I'm kind of the more like empathetic, compassionate, don't scream at people approach.
Nice.
That's
And you're a father now.
Yeah, well, for 12 years, so been a father.
Okay, got it. Well, not when you started, right?
when I started being a father.
No, not when you started doing YouTube content.
Yeah,
It was
said
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years.
All right, listen,
When
that's not
my-
my thing, guys. I'm just trying to give you a little shout out right here.
In 2010, I got my first paycheck for, it was like $203. And I mathed
Ballin'.
out. Yeah, I mathed out quickly because I was doing carpet cleaning. I was working, it was like 13-day stretches, every other Sunday off, fucking horrible. And when I saw my first paycheck from Justin TV back then, I did the math and I was like, if I did this full time, I'd make about as much money as I make carpet cleaning, but it wouldn't be as miserable.
Got it.
So, but my kid's mom was pregnant then, so I went and told the boss, oh my God, I think she's going to deliver early. I need to quit. And then I just stopped that job.
Wait, so just to tie the loose ends together here,
Yeah.
you're basically saying when Andrew Tate does come out, because you believe he's innocent, he's going to need to reinvent himself soon.
Yeah, I think you have to do something more. I think people are going to get tired out of
Got
like
it.
the Matrix
Yeah, I don't
stuff.
object to that.
Even Trump, to some extent, has had to kind of do that. Like you saw him like go really
I don't
hard
think
on
he's
the
reinventing himself.
Well, no, but like I think that people got fatigued about crying about the election, right? But he as of kind of recently, he's gotten off of that and he's like making fun of DeSantis and he's kind of like moved on from
Yeah.
other things a little bit. But
So-
if he does that for another few more years, like people are gonna be like, bro, you gotta
Lesson
move on.
out there is if you're still doing the exact same thing you were doing 10, 15, 5 years ago for that matter, you got to switch it up. It's getting stale. You got to
Yeah.
reinvent yourself.
For
no
sure.
doubt. Brody, you want to weigh in on this? What are the odds that he's innocent, guilty? Do you have any strong feelings on this that you want to get off your chest?
Okay. So for transparency's sake, I briefly dated Tristan Tate, like maybe 2.5 years ago before they rose to fame. So you can imagine what that's been like, watching everything go down. It's hard for me to have an opinion because of that. But I would probably say that if you take whatever they say for face value, then it would be really easy to arrest them. But if you believe everything that they say, then that's on you. Like, I think it's kind of,
You're saying that they're kind of playing a caricature?
I don't know if it's a character. I didn't spend enough time with them to know. It's hard for me to say that I have a negative opinion because it didn't end well between me and Tristan. So I don't want to speak out of emotion.
Okay.
But I will say that I think looking back at conversations that I've had and then seeing what has happened, what has transpired, I think back and I think like, man, like, could that have been an attempt to bring me over there? So that's something that I have considered. That being said, I also think that there has been, sorry that I'm emotional.
No, it's
It's
okay. Get it off your chest.
Yeah, no, it's just something I look at it and I try to be level-headed. So I think like innocent until proven guilty. I'm not one to villainize anyone. And I also think that him being in prison has also deified him and made him a martyr. So I think that him getting out of this and going and doing live streams, I think he's going to blow up and be even, and be even more successful. I think there's a reason that society has a need for a Tristan Tate and an Andrew Tate.
What do you think that need is exactly?
I think it's a need to express masculinity, and I think it's a need to. I think that in Western society specifically, men are being told that they're not supposed to be masculine, and I think that their hypermasculinity is an antidote to that for some men. That being said, I think that it is to a point where it's too much. Saying like that you are comfortable beating women, or saying that you are going to use tactics of abuse on women so that they don't leave or so that they can make you money, I don't see that as traditional masculinity. So that's where I have a problem with it. And I should say that way back when, I was like 21 at the time, when I was dating him, I didn't know enough about him. I was so starstruck. I just saw this really powerful, strong man who had a bunch of other powerful people around him. So that was, to me, really exciting. But the minute that I learned about all of the other stuff, about how he has a girlfriend in every other state, that was for me when it was no longer even a possibility that we would be together.
So it wasn't attractive to you that he had other women other places. Did you think that
It was
you were the only girl at
disappointing.
the point?
At that point, I did. I didn't. I was really naive, obviously.
You're 21. I mean,
They didn't have an online presence the same way that they do now.
and how did you guys meet initially?
We met.
Don't
through,
tell me it was at a yacht in Miami.
It was at a yacht in Miami. It was through Fresh and Fit.
Can't make this up. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was a Fresh and Fit
Yeah.
yacht party, Miami. You
Yeah, and
met.
it was like- it
And he
was-
treated you well, at least initially.
He told me immediately. Like, I was so stupid. I'm so embarrassed to even talk about this. I never thought I would talk about this publicly.
Well, you're
I'm
there
like a
now,
red.
so just get it off your chest. The world's going to be better for it.
I've seen him speak in interviews since, and I've seen him explain the tactics that he uses. And I've seen, I'm sad. I'm sorry, this is so embarrassing. I cry all the time, by the way. It's like not even, it's no big deal. So he really made me feel loved. And then he flipped like that.
Can't it be said that that's common in a lot of relationships, right? Like, no, you don't think so? You don't think a guy, you don't think guys in general will tell girls what they want to hear, and then once they get what they want,
the jokes that I said on my
they kind of
stream.
flip? Go ahead.
Without getting like too deep in all of this, because I don't want to trash everybody, okay? When I listen to like the dating advice and everything given by like the Red Pill community, most of it is like the most like virgin-y incel shit I've ever heard in my life. Like the idea that like one guy can juggle 5 women and they'll feel like more competitive for it is like bullshit. But if you watch Tristan's videos on picking up women and the strategies that he talks about, he is very clearly very experienced at what he does. But it's not like the normal of like you know, you're trying your best when you're like meeting a girl initially. It is like a whole series of like tactics that are like optimized to like take advantage of somebody's like vulnerabilities and to make them feel as special as possible in a short amount of time as possible, while like not really being forthcoming with like your intentions.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you guys, let's just put Tristan Tate aside. There's a whole fucking realm of books and categories from pickup artists that is dedicated to this exact subject.
What's the
so
difference
to basically villainize and to, whether it's Tristan or Andrew or any one particular guy, guys, like I always say this all the time, guys want women. Women, girls just want to have fun. Fun costs money. So men need to go make money. And why do men need to go make money? Because men want women. There goes the circle of life. So men are constantly reading books and watching videos in order to improve getting women. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's a difference when it's misleading, right?
How do you mean misleading?
As in, if I tell you that like you're the most, like if you're fucking a girl in the middle of fucking her, you find out that she's got a body count of 10,000, right? How do you feel?
It's the biggest whore in the world, yeah.
Sure, yeah, and it'd probably be a horror to you, right? Well, if some guy is talking to you in a particular way and you feel like you're a special person, and then you find out he said the same shit to 100 other women in the past month, it's the same feeling, right?
Well, let's remove Brody here because you're 25 now, 24?
I'm almost 25 now.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's an amazing person. This is 4 years ago. She's way better for it. She's beautiful, amazing girl. So let's just move Brody aside.
It's okay.
yeah.
I was involved. There was.
You have experience with
This
this,
is
but
one of the
well, here's what I
difficult-
want to say about this. Then I'll
Yeah.
come to you. Men, you know the old adage: women fall in love with their ears.
Wait, stop.
Men fall in love with their eyes.
Yeah, don't-
Men
stop the
like
adage.
really
We need the
pretty
old
women.
adages, yeah.
What do you mean? That's a
Yeah,
common.
it's like a way to avoid the conversation, right? I
So
don't
what-
care about the old adage. Listen, I do a thing where if I'm really into a person, everybody does this. Every guy does this. Every girl does it.
What I'm saying is
really
men,
got to the beginning.
men lie and women lie.
But
Men lie with their mouth. Women lie visually. You ain't that tall. Your heel, you got heels. You were 5'3", now you're 5'6". Your titties ain't that big. You have a C cup. Now it's a fucking triple D cup.
Yeah, but as a guy, you
get
know they're
fake
wearing
eyelashes,
makeup.
You get
If
face
you really think a woman
extensions,
looks like
you
that,
get
that's
a tummy
your fault.
tuck. You get
Sure. Okay.
like women will lie visually, and men will lie verbally. That whether that's Tate or whoever, that's just human
Do
nature.
you think any of these 3 women right now aren't wearing makeup?
I think they're all wearing makeup.
would
Okay,
like to
so
see somewhere.
when you say that when you say they lie visually, we know that's part of like the social accepted thing is that like you're wearing makeup, you're wearing high heels. You can see who's got high heels on, right? It's not like a deception, right? You know what's going on. But when a guy is trying to misrepresent to a girl that there's like he's like reserving himself for a special monogamous relationship and he's got like some plans in the future, but he's only doing that. If you want to talk about adages, we have a name for that. It's called a fuckboy, right? That's exactly what that is. It's not just a way. You don't get women by being a fuckboy. You play women by being a fuckboy, right?
I-
If you want to be really romantic in the beginning of a relationship and that kind of falls off because you suck at like maintaining it, that's a fundamentally different thing than I've got like explicit strategies that I use to try to get a woman to fall in love with me so that I can fuck her and get what I want and then ditch her in like
Well,
2
let me
months,
ask you this,
right?
Destiny.
Yeah.
And you're a pretty straightforward guy.
Of course.
Are you trying to tell me you've never used a pickup line? You've never told a girl, hey, by the way, I'm pretty big on Twitch over here. I got my YouTube. You've never used anything to basically meander your way into a woman's heart just a little? I'm sure you have.
There would be a difference between me going to a girl and be like, hey, I'm big on YouTube and blah, 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 versus like, hey, I'm going to like dump my wife and like live with you. Those are two fundamentally different things.
That's an extreme, but I hear
no,
what
that's
you're
not
going.
an extreme. That is the level of like playing we're talking about, right? If you look at, I can't speak to her situation, but if you look at like the past logs, tons of them between Tristan, Andrew, and the girls they talk to, a lot of it is represented like that. I need you to be loyal to me. I need to make sure that you love me more than anyone else. I need to make sure that you're going to be there for me, and I'll be there for you as much as you want. You're going to be the only girl. Like they talk about these things, and they get
Love
other girls.
bombing, I believe, is
no,
the phrase.
it's not love bombing.
Okay.
It's deception and lying.
It's hard
All right, let's let Brody get a
go
word
ahead,
in.
It's hard to admit that you've been manipulated when it's shameful to be a person that was manipulated, even though the person that manipulated you is online talking about how he manipulates people like you. So and then on top of that, all of the top G fans who, by the way, after we dated, Tristan very kindly posted a video where he was talking about me. And so all of his fans ended up bombarding me and slut-shaming me, which I hate that term. I'm so independent, and I'm annoyed when girls are easily manipulated, and then to have that happen to me, and to then have all this like online. It's.
So what do you want the world to know? Since this is a very personal issue, we're basically weighing in. Have any of you guys ever
I'm embarrassed
met?
that it's even making me emotional.
Okay.
That's to that extent.
I don't think this is affecting your life, so I don't.
I also I think like the girls that worked for them and put themselves in that situation. At least within a week or two, I was like, wait a minute, something's off here. This is not okay. Something's not right here. I look at the girls that got into that situation where they're in Romania, and I don't know whether or not they're sex trafficked, and I can't make any. What I do know is that there's definitely manipulation going on, but manipulation is not illegal. So.
Valid point.
Yeah, it's not illegal. I look at those girls and I think it's your responsibility.
For sex trafficking, it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway.
But that's what we can't quite prove yet. But
Brody, because we'll wrap up because we got a lot of stuff we got to cover today. Anything else you want to get off your chest that you want to just so you're at peace with the situation? Because obviously it's very brave of you to just put your shit out there like this.
I was not planning on speaking.
I know
about
you
this.
weren't. You didn't have to, and you wanted to, and I respect that. Final thoughts before we move on, because we're not going to spend the whole episode on this.
I guess I'll just say, I just want to share one more thing that happened since I dated Tristan. I dated somebody new. I really liked him. We were dating for a long time. And when Tristan and Andrew got sent to prison, I called my boyfriend. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this guy that I dated is in prison. And my boyfriend said to me, are you talking about Tristan Tate? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I was just wondering what kind of girl would possibly be manipulated by them. So I just want to, ask anyone who's watching this, this is so pathetic. I'm so embarrassed. I'm fine. Just try not to judge. It's not something I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I'll tell you this, and this is from a guy that likes women. Okay, I'm just Destiny. Go with me for a second.
I'm sorry, yeah. From a guy that likes women. Yeah, go ahead.
There's way worse dudes that you can be affiliated with and be dating. Like, not to dick ride or anything like that. Those guys got money, they're good looking, they're well spoken, they've got a lot going on for them. They treat women for the most part with respect. I get it, alleged. So don't be ashamed of dating a top G. If you were I dated fucking Charles Manson, I'm like, holy shit, bitch, what are you doing? But
imagine
I wouldn't be ashamed.
Constantly bombarded with videos. And by the way, I'm relatively conservative leaning. Mm-hmm. Imagine being bombarded with content about how your ex manipulates women. That's mm-hmm. my experience since they've been.
Well, I'll tell you this. Have you ever spoken about this in public like this?
No, never.
You got it off your chest, and you're going to be a lot better for it. You move on. This is 4 years ago. You're good to go.
It's a little less, but yeah.
Destiny, you're just it's like a kid in a candy store over there. What do you want to say, buddy?
I'm sorry, but when we did this episode with pearly things and shit here, it's the perfect difference between a woman is I got manipulated by a person. It feels really shitty. I feel like I was misled. And then the guy, the Redpill side is but bro, he had a lot of money and he was fucking famous. Isn't that awesome? And it's just it's the perfect dichotomy between what is actually happening in the real world. Whereas how do Redpill people sell
clearly
the idea?
Not awesome, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't be ashamed of dating a. That's like saying, and I'm not making this exact comparison, It's like, how many young girls does Leonardo DiCaprio date? Okay? You know, the whole thing with Leonardo DiCaprio is like, once they turn 25, turn them back in. You know, there's a line of women who are 25, 26 years old. They're like, fucking Leo, I thought he told me he loved me. And it's like, yo, girl, it's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio.
But then again,
and that girl is like, well, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, it's not some C-list retarded actor out there. Like, you dated Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay,
Okay, what I'm saying is, like, there's levels to this game.
Hold on. We do this as long as you want, okay? It's not even remotely the same, okay? The difference is that, now this is a guess, I don't know how Leo runs his shit, but my guess is when you're getting fixed with Leonardo DiCaprio, you know what you're in for. You know what you're signing up for. The whole way that the Tates were so successful in doing what they did, though, was the constant deception and gaslighting about what they were doing. It was that this was the one girl they were talking to, that they had one future for this person. The other girls didn't mean anything. They were just employees. They weren't involved in anything or whatever, that you're going to be the one. That's the difference. If Leo was saying that to girls, then that would be fucked up. It would be wrong.
Fair enough. And I will say this, and just to Brody's credit here, she was a girl that he was dating. She didn't do any of the. She wasn't sex trafficked. She wasn't a video cam girl.
Yeah,
she
but
wasn't
I
a
bet
sex worker.
but I bet
she's a pretty girl that dated a guy. That's it. Am I right?
That's how I would love to think of it. It did not last long enough to get to any point.
Okay.
Yeah,
where it
but
was
there are
like-
probably worlds where, not to say that like you would do horrible things, but I'm sure you can imagine, maybe not. I don't want to, but like, fuck, like, could it have been the case that you would have made a dumb decision where you would have been somebody in Romania doing one of these things, or could you have gotten like?
Well, she didn't. She's smarter than that.
I can tell you there were conversations that we had where I could tell he was angling for me to move to Europe, and you know, a quick Google search and I ended it. It was a Google search of seeing a few of his interviews, and I messaged him something like, "Can we talk about this?" He didn't want to talk about it, so that was it.
All right. Guys, we ready to move on? Anything you want to say? Final word?
I'm just worried about the fallout, but it's all good.
I think you're going to be better for it. Guys, if you're watching out there, be nice to Brody. She's a good human and a lovely lady.
It's the internet. Say what you want.
Let's clap it up for Brody for just
It's the
being
internet. It is what
brave.
it
Thank
is.
you about that.
Yes.
Let's move on a little bit. By the way, thank you guys for watching. Nat, we're going to be coming to you for any super chats out there. Nat, is there anything you want to do now, or should we wait for the super chats?
We'll wait for the super chats and we'll come back.
Okay. Guys, can we move on a little bit? Everyone take a
Stock
sip of
tips.
water.
What are we doing next?
I love how you throw stock tips in with Andrew Tate. Congratulations, that. Here's a story that I want to talk about right now. If we can put this up. And this has to do with American values. And we're going to talk, and everyone here is from a different part of the world, I want to say, or has a different lineage right now. So we'll bring that up. So I bet American values that at one point defined who we are in Americans has plummeted over the last 25 years. And they've tracked this since 1998 to now 2023. So here's the deal. Here's the article. The Wall Street Journal's latest poll finds that American values, which defined our national character for generations, has plummeted. These values include patriotism, religion, having children, and community involvement are all receding in importance. When asked which of these values is very important, here's the breakdown. Patriotism has gone down in the last 25 years from 70% to 38%. Religion has gone down from 62% to 39%. Having children has gone down from 59% to 30%, and community involvement has gone from 47%. It actually increased to 62% a few years ago, and has now plummeted to 27%. The only priority that people basically said is very important to them, that has grown in importance marginally in the last 25 years, is money, which has gone up from 31% to 43%. The most
Good for
shocking
Soscast,
stat.
right?
What's that? Because
Good
the
for your show.
Soscast. Thank you for that. Free plug from Destiny right there. I'll pay you those dividends on that. Save that money. Respect. The most shocking, though, and this is where I want to get you guys to weigh in on this, is younger Americans, basically millennials and Gen Z, place a low importance on these values compared to boomers. So basically, we just use the national percentages, but they're breaking it down by Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and boomers, and then boomers are basically 60 plus, and then anything above that is traditional, great grandma out there. They weren't included in this poll. But the numbers are plummeted across all the board with all those individual generations. But by the youngest Americans, they've plummeted significantly. Here are those numbers. So especially when it comes to patriotism and being proud to be an American? This fucking grinds my gears. Here it is. Breakdown by generation. 73% of boomers, baby boomers, 60 plus, proud to be American. Gen X, 54% proud to be American. Millennials, 36%, all right? And Gen Z, who are basically 25 and under, 16%.
Wow.
16%.
Wow.
Okay? So,
That's crazy.
what I love about this panel right here, and I have no clue what you guys are about to say. You have someone from Israel, Jewish from Israel. Your family is Brazilian, I want to say. Were you born in Brazil or you were born here?
I'm first generation.
First generation. Your family's from Brazil. You're from El Salvador. You're American, but half Cuban. Your mom's from Cuba. A lot of your family's from Cuba. Natalya, your dad is from where? Where's your dad from?
Honduras, and then my mom is from Guyana.
Okay, so you know she likes those Jamaican patties. She's out there doing her thing. She's doing her thing.
Yes.
My family escaped the Bolshevik Revolution, Ashkenazi Jews in the early 1900s. Got the hell out of Russia. Nobody loves America more than this guy right here. America. Okay, so when I see stats like this, it is disgusting to me. All these stats, I feel like it's disappointing. Okay, religion, having children, community involvement, great to hear about money. But the patriotism one to me is what really upsets me. So my question to you guys is, why do younger generations hate being American? Is this sustainable? And what concerns you the most? Rebecca, go ahead. Let's start with
I'm
you.
first.
Yes.
Yeah, it upsets me a lot. I don't even know what to say about this. I think in general, just going through school, there's this huge woke culture that's completely taking over universities. These kids don't even, I call them kids, I'm sorry. These kids don't even know what they stand for. They just listen to something in a classroom and then just regurgitate it on social media or, you know, whenever someone brings it up on street interviews or something. Like they have nothing to stand on. And so, I mean, does it surprise me? Absolutely not, because you could see the trend going down. I think as millennial, like I'm a millennial, I'm an elder millennial.
Me too. I'm the oldest millennial. I like to own that. I'd rather be the oldest millennial than the youngest Gen Xer.
Yeah, I feel
Go
like
ahead.
I feel like we got a lot of crap about this. Like we were the worst generation until Gen Z came along. But then I just look at Gen Z and just they're just pushing socialism, they're pushing communism, they're pushing all these things. They have no idea. People that leave these countries that, like my dad left Brazil, my parents left Brazil, made their lives here. My dad, he said that, my dad has since passed away, but my dad, he said he would serve in the military if he could, if he was an American citizen. And he was like the true patriot. He loved America.
From Brazil.
From Brazil.
Respect to your dad.
Came here with $200 in his pocket and made his way. And so you see a lot of these people that immigrate here that want that American dream, that want that American lifestyle, that they are told in their countries it's what people desire. That's why people immigrate here. And then you have Americans that are basically shitting on America, wanting to live anywhere else. And they have no idea, because many of these kids and these adolescents have never left the country to experience what poverty actually looks like. Like the favelas in Brazil, no one would want to live there, okay? Talk about corruption. Brazil is probably one of the most corrupt countries in the world, and people are glorifying these countries. And just trust me, going to Brazil is amazing. Go get you a Brazilian woman, whatever. Passport
Shout out
bros.
to James.
But a lot of these Americans, a lot of these adolescents have never left the country. They have never left their like neighborhoods sometimes, you know? And so it's naive to think, for them, I think it's just a sense of they're just naive.
Yeah, Rebecca brings up such a good point, that it's not the immigrants that move to this country that are basically out there being like, fuck America, we hate America. It's the kids who have been here for generations. They're entitled, let's say. We have it so good here in America. And yes, you could easily say, well, we have this problem. We have this problem. Every country has problems, okay? Every country has problems. But it's the kids who have it so good that all they do is complain. Like, you're from El Salvador.
Yes.
We recently did a whole segment about what's going on with El Salvador and MS-13, and we talked about how the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, what he's cleaning up the country.
Yes.
He's a huge Bitcoin advocate. He's basically all about capitalism, all about freedom, all about free enterprise, getting the criminals off the streets. And he reposted. It was incredible. It was amazing. Shout out to you. But you're from El Salvador. How long have you lived in America now?
So I migrated in 2001.
Okay.
I am not first generation. A lot of people think I am because I am bilingual. And the thing is that when we migrated here in 2001, my American dream story is completely different. It wasn't so much for a better work economic opportunity for my family. It was more so for better health care. And the reason why is because my brother, he wasn't speaking, he was drooling, and he was 4 years old, and the doctors are like, no, don't worry, eventually this will pass, and he'll be fine, and he'll be okay. Thankfully, my parents did not conform to what the doctor said, and they said, okay, let's go to Miami, let's seek for better health opportunities there. What we came for was not to stay, it was supposed to be temporary. We came for my brother. We ended up staying here because my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And it was one of those things where, I was 3 years old coming to this country. To answer your question, I apologize, I derailed a little bit, but it was really difficult trying to start that life because we didn't have family here. By the grace of God, there are community services and community groups such as the Ronald McDonald House of Foundation. There was the Camila's House that helped us out a lot. And thanks to them, I want to say is that gave us like the base, the fundamental to have a better opportunity within the healthcare industry for my brother and for my dad at the time who got diagnosed with cancer. Being here, I want to say when I was around 4 years old, I go to daycare and I'm in the Salvation Army daycare. The first words that I learned in English were, I am proud to be an American. And they tell you, oh, okay, when you go home, tell your parents what you learned in school. When they ask you, oh, what did you learn in school today? I am proud to be an American. My parents could not stop in awe looking at me because they were like, wow, this little girl doesn't speak English. And the first thing she's saying is, I am proud to be an American. And maybe at the time I didn't understand. I was like, yeah, I just learned something super cool. But I'm so grateful that those are the first words that I learned in English because I am proud to be an American. I am proud to be Salvadoran. I am proud to live in this country because it is the country of opportunities that helped not only me, but so many other people, so many immigrants like you, like us, with dreams, with ambition that have also ignited a passion to see, okay, man, maybe I come from this background. Maybe I was in poverty, but just because I come from poverty does not mean I need to stay in poverty.
Respect to you. I'm going to clap it up for you. Proud to be an American. Destiny, I know you got to wipe your tears a little bit right there. I know you're shedding a tear. But how proud are you to be an American? I know that you're very opinionated on this. You got a lot of thoughts, politically speaking. Where do you stand on all this? Is this upsetting when you see these stats?
On it.
Okay.
Explain
why.
I like a criminal justice system. I think we're afforded a lot of rights. And protections that even a lot of Western European countries aren't, especially when it comes to things like freedom of speech. I appreciate that. But I think that when it comes to older generations, history is not enough. If you talk to a Gen Zer and you ask them, like, what is the history of America for you? It's the Iraq War, the Afghanistan occupation, and then it's whatever the fuck has been going on for the past 10 years in our political system where we've been more divided than ever. And I understand that if we do comparisons to the worst parts of Brazil or Central or South America, then we can say, oh, cool, like America's, better than those places. But when you think of like countries that we should be trying to be better than, places like France, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, the UK, like something doesn't seem to be working where we pay a lot of taxes, we've got a huge country, we have all this potential, but like our cities are falling apart, we lead the world in incarcerated citizens, we've got school shootings going on, we've got a lot of homeless people. Like, what's happening? We have no services anywhere. We don't have buses. We don't have subways. Our housing is like a disaster. I'm sympathetic. If a Gen Zer says like, oh, like I don't like my country, like, yeah, I mean, I feel that. Like, I don't know where the big like pride comes from. Like, is it in the military spending? Is it in events that happened, landing on the moon in '69? Do you feel good about that as an American citizen? Like, if you're born here and you've been here and you're not like an ultra wealthy person, I think that we need to do a better job at like asking the question, like, what does America have to offer for you? Because in Western Europe, it's free education. It's a way to get to and from any place you want at any time of the day with public transport. It's access to healthcare without being, financially crippled if you get an accident. I don't know what the answer is for younger people in the United States right now with regards to that.
So and I appreciate what you're saying right there. That seems to be almost like a glass half empty response. I'm not saying that's your response, but you're basically advocating for what younger Americans say. But you could also say so many good things about America.
No, but the reason why you can't anymore is because everything's become so politically partisan that even on the good things, we can't take credit for it anymore. I don't know where everyone is political here, but in my opinion, I think that the mRNA vaccines, hopefully, historically, that is going to be like heralded as like an amazing accomplishment of U.S. innovation and capitalism, of worldwide capital investment, of scientific knowledge, engineering, of our history of public investment education. That was an amazing invention. But like half the people think that mRNA vaccines are Bill Gates trying to inject like microchips in you. So that in my opinion, that's like our modern day version of the moon landing. That was like a vaccine from nothing to marketed in like 10 months or something.
Operation Warp Speed. But there's a lot of problems with the vaccines. You've seen some of this stuff.
There are a lot of problems with our push to go to the moon. I mean,
I also think the only reason the vaccines came so quickly is because of the capitalistic structure.
I agree, 100%. It wasn't Russia, it wasn't China, it was the United States. But we can't even take credit for that because like we fucking hate each other. And it's
that's just because everything's so politically polarized in this country and everyone's living in an echo chamber and just want to spout out.
I'm curious for you, because you're the big America guy. Over the past like 10 or 15 years, what are some American things where you're like, that's a thing that I think is really cool that America did?
So I'm not even going to go macro geopolitical perspective. I'm just going to go my life.
No, don't you? Not your life.
Because
I want to know. No, because a Gen Z doesn't care about your life. What can we be proud of as Americans for America?
Well,
like the moon landing.
I'll give you. Okay, so I'll give you my life, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sure.
You're talking to a kid when he was 25 years old. I was doing stand-up comedy. I was broke as fuck. I was living on my buddy's couch. At 26, I said, I am sick of being broke. And what I did was I said, all right, America gives me an opportunity to do whatever I want to do. Now it's on me to wake my ass up, to get to a job and work. It's on me. The government's not coming to save you like they do in a lot of these other countries, these socialist countries where basically you pay 50% in taxes and you get free healthcare. Whoop-de-doo.
I just came from California. I paid like, what, 40% in taxes?
Insane, exactly.
I didn't get anything for it though.
Well, you get the view of California. But for me, I said, let me put in the work now. I got a job as a cold caller for a financial firm, busted my ass for years. And then by the time I'm 35, I went from having $0 in my bank account to having $1 million in my bank account. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world other than America.
You don't think they have stand-up comics in Australia? You don't think they have stand-up comics in the UK?
No, they have broke stand-up comics.
No, it's
of
not
course
broke
they do.
stand-up comics. A lot of the actors that we get come from the UK.
You're missing my point, though, Destiny. I got out of stand-up comedy and got into the financial world.
And you can't do that in Europe? There was no financial sector in Europe to be a part of?
Okay, if you go on the top 100 richest people in the world, go top 20. What percentage do you think are from the United States?
Probably quite a bit, but most
75%.
Most people aren't the top 100 wealthy people in the world.
But they can be.
No,
they're not going to get there with this victim mentality that I hate this country. It sucks. It's so bad for me.
How many people?
How much opportunities you have in America is incredible.
Here's a math question: how many people can be in the top 100 wealthiest people in the world?
Yeah, 100 out of 8 billion, exactly.
No, 100 people can be the. So when you look at a Gen Zer, and they're comparing their average life to somebody in like Germany or France or the Netherlands, like, is that your pitch to them? Like, bro, you could be a billionaire?
So my pitch to those young people is you don't need to be the top 100 richest people in the world. You don't need to be the top 100 best people, richest people in your city. Just be better than you were the day before.
You can do that in every other country in the world.
Be better. No, you can't. America has so many opportunities. This is why her family came from El Salvador, her family came from Brazil, her family came from Israel.
My family
this is why your family escaped communist Cuba.
Because America was the closest country.
Okay.
You think they're gonna swim from Cuba to fucking the United Kingdom?
You could go.
No,
they
but
can go
they
to
don't even
Colombia.
swim,
They can go
they'll
to
go
Mexico. They
to
can go to
Mexico.
The
Haiti.
United States has
They-
like one of
they
the
risk
worst
their
immigration
lives.
processes of all these fucking
Okay,
countries.
why
how
don't
about
they
this?
go
How about
anywhere
this?
else?
Okay, we say this all the time on
It's
TV.
not like Syrian refugees all came to the United
I'm going to ask
States.
you a
They went to the
question.
closest countries,
Since
right?
you're so politically
Sure, inclined.
informed.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that sarcastically. You are. We say this all the time on PBD podcast. So I'm going to go around table. If you know the answer, don't say it.
Okay.
How do you judge a good restaurant? How do you judge a good nightclub?
The bathroom.
How do you judge it? The what?
The bathroom.
The bathroom. Okay. How do you judge a good restaurant?
I would say just how the management is handling the employees.
Okay. The management. How would you judge
I look at the reviews.
the reviews?
I
Okay.
look at
Good
the
reviews. How would you judge a good restaurant?
Probably word of mouth.
Word of mouth. What would you say if it was the wait in line to get in? So if you go to a restaurant and there's nobody there, nobody in line trying to get in, you're like, oh, this place fucking probably sucks. But if you go to your favorite restaurant or go to a restaurant and it's like, hey, how much, how long for a seat? They're like, yeah, the wait's like 2 hours. You're like, what? They're like, yeah, like the place is packed. Everyone's waiting to get in. There's a 2-hour wait. You're like, holy shit. Now, what do? You either, most people, they're hungry. They go, yeah, I'm just going to go to the restaurant down the street. But some people, when it's life or death, say, I'm fucking waiting in line for 2 hours. So these caravans that are coming from Central America, they're not going south, baby. They're going north to United States. Okay? Cubans aren't leaving Miami to swim back to Cuba. They're leaving Cuba
Are they coming to the
come to United States.
Are they coming to the United States because it's the best country in the world to go to, or because it's the closest one they get to on ground?
They,
Do you think
I
the
think-
caravans
I
are
think
gonna
it's 'cause
are
it's
gonna
a free
go up to
country.
Alaska, go over to Russia?
well
Do you think they
played,
can't-
sir. Well played, sir. But how many people from Europe, from Middle East, from Africa are dying to come to America? Nobody's
From
trying to
Europe?
get...
Hold on.
Nobody's-
Western Europe, Germans and French people aren't like, God, I wish I could make it to the United States.
Oh,
they
you
come
have
here and they make fun
no
of the
idea how many
I'm
come and
literally
don't
married
want to
to a
leave.
fucking Swede, and we've gone through the 5-year fucking process. Do you think that there's a reason why when these people all come over, they're not voting for conservatives, they're voting for Democrats to make it look more like fucking Europe? Do you think people are coming over from Norway?
That
and be
might
like,
be
I'm
the
a big
problem
Trump
with the
supporter?
country, though.
No, that's not a problem with the
You're
country.
trying. That's like you leave California because you don't like the policies. You come to Florida and vote for the same motherfuckers that the reason you left California. But my point is this.
Can,
Yeah.
wait, can
The
I
way
just-
that you judge a restaurant, the way that you judge a country are by the lines of people trying
I'm
to
going
come
to
in.
your taco shop
How
tonight.
many
There better
people-
be a big line out there,
Yes.
or I'm going to take a picture.
You were there the other night, Destiny. There was a fucking line. Way to sneak you in the back
They were all
door.
served. They were all served. I don't know.
Way
Okay.
to sneak you in the back door. You know it. So the point is this: there's a huge line of people trying to come to America. How many people are trying to go into Russia, to China, to certain African countries? I don't even know how many people are trying to get into Sweden these days. That's my opinion. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add that, like, you keep saying, like, Germany and Sweden, like, they might be good for specific reasons, but just from the perspective of, like, a Jewish person, I would never feel safe there, and neither would any of my family or any other Jewish or Israeli person that I've ever met would never feel safe there. Anyone who travels there hides the fact that they're Jewish. So that's one point towards America. And then your question about, you know, what has America done well in the past 15 years? I would say absolutely nothing. The core values of America are for me why it's worth it. In the same way that I'm Israeli, I moved here 4 years ago, and I love my country with all my heart, but I still look at my country and I think, like, God damn it, like, get your shit together. I feel the same way about America, and it makes me sad that Gen Z is depressed, and I know that they're depressed, even though they have no problems compared to the rest of the world, compared to the, you know, people that are in war-torn countries. But pain is relative, and they're suffering because they have no values, and you can see that. You know, what did this topic begin with? You know, how values are declining. So I will say, you know, we need to protect America because its values of freedom, you know, and
I think you bring up a really good
Yeah.
point. I'll say this. If I woke up every day and all I thought was I went on social media, all these girls are so much prettier than me as a girl, or all these guys have so much money, more money than me as a guy, all you do is you see school shootings. It's disgusting. I'll never fucking, you know, make that a cornerstone of why I love America. That's a major problem that we need to figure out. If all you do is see the news and the divisiveness, it's very easy to basically go down the negative rabbit hole of why America sucks. But most people I know wake up in an air-conditioned home, have food on the table, have their phone, have their family, have their friends. They go to school. They live a great life. They don't have to worry about getting killed just, like you do in El Salvador and Brazil. Or if you're...
Why do you compare to fucking...
Well, I'm just saying, these are where the people are from. Or in
El
Israel.
Salvador's
I've been in
getting
Israel. I'm at a
yes.
cafe in Israel, and Israel is an amazing,
American
safe
citizens are way
place.
better than Haiti citizens are. Like, we don't have...
I've been in Israel, and I'm sitting at a cafe. Lovely area. Middle of Tel Aviv. Gorgeous area. Next thing you know... sirens are going off because bombs are happening.
That's just your initiation.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a joke because she's so fucking used to it. We don't have to worry about getting bombed here in America. We got the
But to
Pacific
be
Ocean
fair-
on the left. We got the
There's
Atlantic
gotta be a
Ocean on the
better
right.
answer than that.
We're not getting.
I'm not getting bombed in Israel, and I'm not in the roughest places in Central and South America.
Well, can I
But
answer
that's where
that,
the people
though?
on the panel are from, Destiny.
But let me
Go ahead,
answer that.
Rebecca.
That Israel has the same values as America. Israel is America's ally in the Middle East, and the reason that I laugh at the sirens is because we have the Iron Dome that intercepts 95% of the rockets that
That's
are sent over the border.
funded by America.
That's funded.
Thank you, Benjamin
as well.
Netanyahu.
So
And let me
I-
say one thing about Israel, by the way, just a quick interlude.
Okay.
Do you know how many countries in the Middle East are considered free? There's how many countries in the Middle East? 25 countries?
Free
Go down,
for-
Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan,
Yeah.
Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia,
Yemen,
Oman, Lebanon, Syria, the list goes on. How many countries, by the economic study, socioeconomic, how many countries do you think in the Middle East are considered free? The answer is one.
Yeah. So I'm
The
just
country
saying
of
we're-
Israel.
America's-
Only one
How
country.
do you even Okay, without getting
Pull
into
up
all
any stat. There's 4 countries that are considered
free for who?
Partly free.
Because the Palestinians over there would probably disagree.
20%.
That's
excuse
true.
me,
Well, they're not free.
Excuse me. 20% of Israeli citizens are Arab citizens
Correct.
who are from Palestinian origins, who have every single right that Israelis have, except for one, which is to serve in the military, which they can choose to do so willingly.
Sure, and I'm not going to sit here and shit on Israel. I'm a tepid supporter of
You
Israel.
don't have to be a
but I'm
supporter of
just
Israel
saying
or
that-
Palestine. It's not one against the other.
Well, it kind of is. But I'm just saying
It's
that, like, if
not.
you were to
It's
take
people
the
who
totality of the
say
people,
that are contributing to the problem.
well, there are way more Palestinians than there are Israeli citizens, right?
No. What? Oh,
There are way more
okay.
people live. There are
The
more
reason-
Arabs in that land than there are Jewish
Arabs,
people.
yes.
right?
Palestinians,
No,
no.
so the reason that there are more Palestinians is because the refugee status is inherited. So there used to be 850,000 Palestinian refugees, and today there's something like 7 million.
No, I'm not talking about refugees that live in. I'm talking about when you take into account the people that live in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Or the whole push for making like a one-state or two-state solution.
There
right?
are more Israeli citizens, if that's your question.
Anyway, we're not going to go down. We're not going to solve the Israeli two-state solution right now on this show.
The idea
That's
of
not what
saying
we're
that
doing.
like this is the freest place on the planet, that's probably true if you take into account people that just live in Israel and have the rights supported by Israel.
In
but
the
obviously
Middle East,
sure.
there's 4 countries that are partly free. I want to say it's Jordan, Kuwait.
How are you measuring these
You-
freedoms too?
You think this is my fucking opinion? There's
I don't know.
stats
I'm
on
Freedom of
this.
just curious.
speech,
There's
freedom
stats
of
on this.
speech, freedom
Every
to
other-
vote, freedom to vote for a new government.
It's individual expression, internet access, social freedoms, and the ability to vote. That's how you measure freedom.
I'm saying American values, which, and I extend that to Israeli values, are values that we should be protecting. And when I see people basically cheering for the values of dictatorships and socialist governments, it bothers me. And I understand. I have no problem with democratic values. I would consider myself to be a classical liberal, but like, we're taking it to a point where it's no longer like we want to make America better. We want to turn America into something else.
Let's move on to the next topic because this might be to your point.
Well,
real
I'm just
quick.
curious. Can you answer that one question though? In the past 15, 20 years, what has America done that like a Gen Zer should be proud of?
What has America done? Okay, wealth across the world, because of America's leadership, wealth inequality has plummeted. Like nobody's dying of starvation anymore. Famines don't exist anymore. Okay, if you look at from a global statistic standpoint, the world is getting better and better and better and
Yeah,
better.
but I'm saying America. What is America?
Because America is the leader of the world. A lot of these countries, through our soft power, are better because of America's influence. And if America fails to lead, you know who starts leading? China, Russia, Iran. So America's leadership, okay, has a global effect. So yes, you can't point out all the negatives that's happened in America right now, because the last 20 years, quite frankly, have fucking
I don't want to put.
sucked.
I'm just saying that if I'm talking to a Gen Zer, and my son is a Gen Zer, right? And if he were to ask me, why should I be proud of this country? And my answer is, well, globally inequality has fallen and less people are hungry in Africa because of America's leadership, that's a lame as fuck answer. It might be true, and that's a good thing, but like, I don't know, doesn't really get the blood pumping, you know? Like we won World War II, or we
It's a free
landed,
country. That's
right?
it. It's a free
There's a
country.
lot of free countries in the world. America's not
Why are
unique in
you
that
raising
sense.
your kid in America? You can move back to Cuba.
Because I was
you
born
can take
here.
your kid anywhere.
I'm obviously not moving to fucking Cuba.
Okay.
Why not Sweden?
I think I like America because I think America's the best country for rich people. That's why I like America, and I'm rich. But I don't think that connects with the average Gen Zer.
But
Because the
Yeah,
average
you
Gen
take
Zer
the
isn't working
poorest
hard.
person in America, bring them to the favelas of Brazil, or bring them to El Salvador. They'll be like, holy shit,
what about the
I'm
poor,
rich.
What about homeless in America compared to people in like France or people in Italy or Portugal or even fucking Greece? Like, why am I comparing them to South American countries for people that aren't in the same OECD index as we are? For people that don't rank next to us?
Because that's where these people are from. I'm just
Are we just? Well, so this question is: should you love America or should you love America compared to the roughest parts of?
What country do you love more than America?
I don't know if I would say I love a country more than America. I'm just saying
you
that
like Europe more than America.
No, fuck Europe and fuck Europeans. Okay. What I'm saying is that
So
like,
name a country, Destiny.
here's what I'm saying.
He wants
Okay.
to live on another planet.
When I lived in
Destiny
California,
wants to live in the metaverse.
when I lived in California or when I live in Florida,
Yeah.
okay, California's a better example because holy fuck the taxes. When I get taxed every day, I don't know what the fuck my money is going towards. My streets suck. My housing is expensive as fuck. If I get sick, I've got to pay out. It's probably still bankrupt me if I get enough cancer. Okay, if like all of these things, I have no. Everything is fucked, and I don't know where my money is going towards.
Yeah, but you
right?
have the ability to get the fuck out of California, come to Florida.
Even in Florida, but we still, even for federal taxes, if I'm paying, we'll say 50% taxes in some European country, my school is paid for, my kid doesn't have to worry about getting a fucking,
yeah, but
some
they're
kind of
paying
scholarship.
50% taxes. In Canada, that's the case. You're paying
Bro,
all of those taxes
The,
at the end of the day.
bottom 50% earners in the United States don't even have like federal tax income liability.
I would
think.
not trust the United States to
bottom-
educate my child. I would
The
never
top
trust.
1% of this country pay more in taxes than the entire bottom 50%
The
in this
top
country.
1% of this country probably earn 10 times more than the bottom 50% of this
Because
country.
they work their ass off.
No bullshit. What
And
do
they
you mean?
innovate.
It's not
And they're
about working.
capitalists.
No, hold on. Capitalism does not reward you for working your ass off. It rewards you for supply and demand. That's it.
I agree.
There's going to be people that work harder than you that make 1/10 the money that you do.
No. But at some point, you did have to work your ass off. And then you realized, let me work smart, not work hard. And then you hire people to work for you and you duplicate yourself and you create a company and you say, let me get a fucking COO and a CFO and let me
Yeah,
hire
and
an
that's
HR
great
and let
for
me
the
hire a
people-
sales
that's
department.
great.
And it's that person who basically had to work his ass off.
Yeah, and
Elon
that's
Musk
great
of the
for the
world, Jeff
people that
Bezos
do
of the
that,
world.
but we need people that
give us
are-
the world that we have today.
I don't
In
think
America
you can-
today, I can have anything I want like that. In the click of an Amazon fucking
And I
thumbnail.
agree with that,
Boom,
and I
done.
can too. But my teacher has to do fundraisers to buy fucking Kleenex for the kids in class. There's a
She only,
problem
she
there.
only has to work 8 months out of the year.
There's a oh my god. Yeah, assuming they don't do any summer
I would not
courses.
trust the government to educate my child and do healthcare right. I know because Israel we do have universal healthcare and it's shitty. It's really bad.
And in the United States, we have the same
Destiny,
type of healthcare.
you and
with
I
the
are going to
sa-
travel the world
Oh
this
my
summer.
God.
We're going to go around.
Where
We're
do you
going
want
to
to
do
go?
something together.
Okay, here's what I want. I want us to travel in
Yes.
Western Europe, and I want you to ask the question: do you wish you could live in America? And then I want to get the recording when every European fucking laughs at you. Everybody in any real European country, okay? I'm not
And then
saying
I'll go around
former
America and ask every
Yugoslavia,
American, do you want to go live in Western Europe? They're like, fuck, I'll go for a week. And then I'm coming
That's
back
every
here.
Gen Zer's dream. Yeah, I want to go travel
Destiny,
to Paris.
here's the
I wanna go
final
travel to
word.
They're
Here's
not
the final
independent
word.
enough.
Go do your final thing.
America. There was the final word right there. Thank you. Let's talk about this. The latest Gen Z trend. Nat, you're good over there?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the latest Gen Z trend. Everyone okay here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone take a breather right now.
Okay,
Destiny,
no,
right-
I'm not okay. Is this cake real? Are we gonna eat it?
Yes, you want some
Oh,
cake?
yeah,
Do we
well,
have-
yeah.
I was asking. I was
Let's have
asking.
some cake.
No, we don't need to. We don't need
How
to.
do we even get in
I
there?
want
We'll get cake after.
We'll do it for the
after.
super chats.
If you behave, Destiny, you'll get some
Behave,
cake.
Destiny. You'll
Everybody
get cake.
wave your finger at Destiny right there and say,
Okay,
if you
thanks.
behave, you'll get some cake, buddy. All right. Maybe you'll end it up on your face and get some blue hair and some red. We'll just get America
Red,
going
white,
on
and
your face. Red, white, and blue. That's
Don't
actually why I
you have
brought
a
the
question
cake.
to read? Let's go.
Okay.
Now I know why you quit the comedy.
Here's the
thing.
next topic
Sorry.
right now that Destiny's getting fired about. We're shitting on Gen Z, so let's not stop now. Let's talk about the latest Gen Z trend that's sweeping the nation. It is called Bare Minimum Mondays, aka quiet quitting. Nat, can we pull up that article real quick?
Yep.
Essentially, the goal, if you can, here's a cautionary tale. Just go to the top. Anyway, we'll go one by one. Actually, we get it out of there. The goal is doing the bare minimum on a Monday to take the anxiety off the first day of the week. But the article goes on that it doesn't stop there, and it goes on to the other 6 days of the week. And let's get your thoughts on this on the back end. They said that bare minimum Mondays is where it starts, where you basically do the bare minimum to avoid the anxiety of the first day of the week. And then you get to the take a day off Tuesday, where you just take a day off of work, use a sick day because you're sick of working. Then you get to wake up late on Wednesday, where you hit the snooze button, you sleep in, and you put in a half day of work. At that point, it's now throw away your phone Thursday. The boss is asking where you are. You don't respond. You just chuck your phone because it causes anxiety. Anyway, at this point now, just forget about your job Friday. It's a long week of doing nothing. Don't quit. Just forget about your job. Just ghost your job just like you ghosted that dude, right? Now it's the weekend, so now it's time for say goodbye to capitalism. Saturday, and at this point, you got no phone, no job, sell your belongings, and you set yourself free. And the coup de grace is the sail away Sunday. After an unproductive week of doing nothing, just set sail in the open seas, bon voyage. So anyway, the person who wrote this article right here is obviously mocking Gen Z, but this trend of bare minimum Mondays is basically taking over Gen Z generation. So I know this is a joke, but in all seriousness, you're how old?
24.
24. So you're Gen Z. Brody's 24. She's Gen Z. You're 30?
34.
Wow. 34. You're 30.
Same.
Okay.
4.
30. So you're millennial.
I own my age.
Is Gen Z lazy? Are they entitled? Is this a joke? Is just, hey, young people just are, you have to be passionate about what you got going on in order to give a shit? What's your guys' take?
I think, yes, passion is something that definitely drives your fuel. However, if you're working at McDonald's because you just need to have a job in order to pay certain things, you may not be passionate to be going to McDonald's, but you also have to know that you have to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And I want to piggyback off of what Brody was saying prior to, in the previous question that was asked, saying, like, it does hurt my heart to see how Gen Z is very sad and depressed. Because yes, life happens, and I'm not disqualifying anyone's feelings because your feelings are valid. However, it's what you choose to do with what is happening to you, and remember that it's not just happening to you, it's how you see it happening for you. You know, so don't just do the bare minimum. Remind yourself that if you push, you work your ass off, you can achieve something much better than working at McDonald's, or much better than working something that you're not passionate about. So that way you can sail away on Sunday and be in a yacht or be in a sailboat, wherever you want to be, but you know that there's no satisfying feeling than knowing you earned it, in my opinion.
Destiny, I actually just thought of something. 12 years ago,
Oh, sorry.
you asked about America, work ethic. Give yourself a little credit, because you've been doing YouTube and creating content for 12 freaking years.
True.
Okay? How many people were on your first live stream 12 years ago?
It's not about me.
No, it is.
It's not. I wish you guys could understand that.
Why don't dodge the question.
Because
How
when you
many
guys talk to
people-
Gen Z, my story is amazing. I know it is.
Exactly. Well, people don't
But
know your
not
story.
everybody can do what I do. It's like
Yes,
going
they
to, it's like
can,
going to an
Destiny,
underprivileged school
'cause it's called
and getting
putting
LeBron
in the
James and
work.
saying, hey, all of you guys should ball really hard. You can all be in the NBA. That's not true.
Destiny.
I'm
Destiny,
the NBA
You're not no
streamers.
6'9",
Destiny,
250-pound
I
black
am.
man. You're a
I
5'9"
am.
white guy.
Streamer.
Anyone can do a YouTube streamer,
I am.
buddy.
First of all,
Anyone can
I
have
know you put me next to
Instagram.
this call
Anyone
away
can
from
do
me.
Yes,
TikTok.
let Rebecca weigh in on this. Yes.
Like literally, you can make content on your phone and make money on the internet. I am literally a part-time content creator, and I make money on YouTube. It is not that difficult. I know I'm a little heated about this, but honestly, like, the problem is that there's no motivation. There's no drive to do anything. If you want the world handed to you on a silver platter, you're living on another planet. Like, I'm so sorry to break it to you. Your parents worked hard to put you in a position. Your kid is probably better off because of what you've done, this blood, sweat, and tears, twitching and streaming and whatever you're doing on the internet so that they can live their life, right? And if we sit here and be like, oh, well, my parents suck and blah, blah, I get it. Like, I know that it's hard. You grew up with a phone in your hand. By the time these kids could barely walk, they're thrown an iPad and said, play your game. I get it. But you make the most out of what you have. You have a phone, make content, talk about things you want to talk about, go outside, record yourself. It is so easy in this world to make money. And we're sitting here saying, oh no, the world sucks and everything. Talk about it on Instagram and TikTok. You'll probably get millions of views.
It's
Well played.
relatable.
That's what I'm
content,
saying.
for
It's
sure.
like, honestly, I get it, right? I get it because I have family members that are younger than me. My brother dropped out of college, got a software, got like a degree programming, and now he makes 6 figures working at home, literally just living in his house, right? But he put the work into it. He went to school. He got the loan to do that. Maybe we should start going back to trades. Maybe we should start, like, I don't have the answer to everything, but we live in a world and an economy where you can literally make money from anywhere. You can be sitting on the toilet making money. I don't get where, like, I don't get where, like, we're so oppressed. Our lives suck. Like, I don't get that. I don't.
Also, I feel like aside from the lack of motivation, it's the fact that people don't know who they are and the lack of not knowing their purpose and what they were created for. You know, so it's like, okay, maybe you were not created to live your life being a Twitcher or to live your life being Sosnick, you know, and having this wonderful podcast, 100th episode. Shout out to you. But it's knowing that you were created for something much more than where you are now, if it's in a negative situation. And even if you're not in a negative situation, it's knowing, okay, man, I'm good now, but I don't want to conform to good. I want to do something better.
I think 2 things. I think you ever heard the phrase comparison is the thief of joy?
Yes.
Okay. It's so easy right now, if you're a 21-year-old, to look at a Destiny or an Adam or anyone out here or anyone who has success and be like, well, it's not fair that they have all this. You can do it too. Straight up, you can do it. Destiny 12 years ago, I'm assuming, had 0 people following him on Twitch. My first time I did stand-up comedy, I had 3 people in the crowd. 2 of them were booing, and one of them was my fucking mom, and she was the one booing as well. So things are tough out there. But now we do live podcasts. We get, how many people are watching live right now, Nat?
We have 6,500.
We have 6,500 people watching live right now. Okay, by the time this thing's done, we'll have 100,000 views. But you gotta start somewhere. And comparing yourself to where people are at midway through the race is never a good look. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
How did you start your podcast? Because yes, you did not succeed, let's say, within the stand-up comedy act, but you said, bro, this is not it for me. I'm trying to do something better.
Yeah, well,
what got you here so that people can hear your story? Because
everyone, you know, they say the riches are in the niches. I had to realize, hey, maybe stand-up comedy is not for me, and I got a job in sales. Because my thing was I did nightlife, I did stand-up comedy, I did hospitality, I worked in bars, restaurants, clubs. I was very good with people, and I can sell. So I said, let me just use that and I got into the financial world, and I've been doing that for 17 years since at a hedge fund down the street here in Boca, and I still do that, okay? I don't quit my day job to do the podcasting, right? But you have to get good at something. You have to get good at something. Find a career, like you brought up trade, having a trade. Not everyone, like Destiny, I know you're gonna get triggered on this. Not everyone needs to go to college. College isn't for everybody. If you go to college, you get a degree, economically, it will work out better for you than those that don't go to college. But if college isn't for you, you can go to trade schools, you can get to apprenticeships, you can get internships, you can figure it out. But at some point, like, if you're 21, you're gonna be 25. If you're 25, you're gonna be 30. By the time you're 30, you're gonna be 40. You started streaming when you were 21 years old?
22, I think. 22.
Okay, it's where you've come right now. You wouldn't have thought in your wildest dreams you would be on Tim Pool podcasts, on Valuetainment, on Fresh and Fit, and all these massive podcasts. You were in your fucking, proverbially, your mom's basement with 0 subscribers. But you put in the work, okay? And to Rebecca's thing, anyone can do that. But not everyone has Destiny's work ethic. That's what differentiates you from you and the rest of the people. Because most people will do 3 episodes and say, well, it's not working for me, nobody likes it, and quit. Real talk, how many times did you think about quitting 10 years ago,
Never.
12 years ago?
Not even one time.
Okay, so that's what separates you from most people. Probably thought they would quit. I assume you're joking.
No, but I did a careful calculation before I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
But most people are most people. Most people are average. And most people will not, you know, what's the old phrase? You know, fall down 10 times, get up 11. Most people are going to fall down once and just fucking stay down. Some people will fall down twice and then just get down. Most people aren't going to fall down 10 times and say, fuck it, I'm getting back up 11th time. So they say within sales, you need to call people 5 times to make a sale. 5 times. Hey, this is Brody. I'm out here trying to, sorry. Hey, it's Rebecca. Click. Most people give up after the first time. That's the law of large numbers. So the people like Destiny, like myself, who put in the work 10 years later, that don't stop making the calls, that will get up 10 times after falling down, they're the ones who will succeed. Rebecca, the first time you did it, your YouTube, how many people were on that stream? How many subscribers did you start with? 0.
0.
Now you're over 100,000 at this point.
Almost there.
You're there?
I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Can we get a subscribe for Rebecca Barrett in the house?
Please.
Where you at right now?
95.7.
95. By the time this stream is over, if you do not subscribe to Rebecca Barrett and get her to 100,000, you have beef, and Nat is going to personally show up at your house.
Show up.
With her bathwater and some cake.
Both.
But I think people should, like, I don't know. I think about the saying no and, like, that's really popular in stand-up and like, or yes and, right? Like, people need to learn how to hear the word no. People need to hear that because, if you know that person is going to say no, right? If you're having a conversation, you're like, that person's not going to buy what I'm selling. I need to get as much data and information from that person and then come back next time, present that new information to them, and possibly that will get a yes. If that doesn't, get more information. Like, all we're doing is gathering information, like learning our intel so that we can say, okay, that didn't work. Maybe I should listen to what people are saying. Let me apply that. Let me approach it like this and try. Like, I don't know.
I love that advice, and I'll tell you why. Because whether it's sending your resume out, whether it's applying for jobs, whether it's cold calling and doing sales, whether it's going up to women, if you knew that on the 50th approach you would get a yes, how hungry would you be for 49 no's? Mm-hmm. If you knew, like, if you could write the ending of the story, on the 50th call, you're going to get your first yes.
Yeah.
You're looking for no's. You're embracing the no's. One guy told me when he started doing cold calls, he said all he did was he had 2 jars, and everyone he called, he just put a marble in.
Make a game out of it.
And he just made a game. And he said, all right, every time I called this guy, hey, no, don't call. That's 1 marble. That's 1 marble. So he finished the jar. The jar started with 100 marbles. Then he put another jar. There was basically, by the time it ended, he had 100 marbles in this jar. He said he made 20 grand. That was his story. And I was like, I love that fucking story. Like, the marble story. And he's like, yeah, because whether it's resumes, whether it's cold calls, whether it's approaching women, whatever it is, all is like, let me just get to the yes. And the guy's worth $1 gazillion.
But I will also say, if you're making like $60,000, $80,000, whatever, and you just go to work and have a 9-to-5 job, if that's the thing that's not bringing you joy and happiness, like, you need to figure that out. Like, you need to figure out what is going to bring you happiness. Like, what is that side thing that you're doing? Because I think that people making, average money should be happy, like, should maximize their other parts of their life so that they can be like, okay, well, I'm making $60,000, $80,000, which is great money in the world. Like, you go anywhere across the US and that's, your rent is paid, your car is paid, your electricity, like, you're fine, right? So figure out what you want to do. Maybe you have the time on the weekend to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you have time, or I don't know, learn a skill. I know so many stay-at-home wives and moms that pick up different skills in the house, and they start like making TikToks about it, and they start making Instagram reels about it, and then they start blowing up, and they're making money at home while still taking care of their child. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think, I think we live in a world where anything is possible at our fingertips. Like, we literally have the best device in the world to make money, and people are still sitting here complaining that they don't have any opportunities. Your grandparents didn't have this device. Your great-grandparents didn't have this device. Your parents didn't have this device. And we're complaining that we don't have the ability to make money or have influence or anything. I call cap.
Destiny, people in Cuba don't have that device.
Wow.
Sorry.
Messing with you.
That's
I think
finished.
what you're saying is that there's really two types of people. There's victims and then there's doers. The people who are doers, which I include you in, Destiny.
Thanks.
They're not going to just play this victim mentality. Oh, woe is me. Life sucks. Glass half empty. And those people, even when they have a bad day, they'll still get back on their stream and keep going. Nat, you had something you wanted to say? Okay, you're just looking at me all happy out there. Brody, anything you want to weigh in on this?
Just don't make bad decisions. Like, don't make stupid financial decisions. And if you are looking at people on TikTok all day, then you're chronically online, and that's why you're not happy. Not because you're like just.
There it is. You
just
could have
work,
not
live.
set up the next story any better. Let's move on. Speaking of stupid financial decisions, let's get into this next topic right here. So this is a story about what's happening in Miami these days. You live in Miami.
I do.
You live near Orlando, right? You live in Miami. You're a recent transplant from California to Miami. I'm in South Beach, Miami. Nat, you're in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. You're in Miami on the weekends. Oh, she's out there. Here's a story about what's happening in Miami these days, and for a larger extent, what's happening in the crypto world. Anyone here a crypto advocate, fan, expert? All right, well, then you're going to appreciate this story. Pull up this title right here. Every party must come to an end. Miami's brutal crypto Comedown, a.k.a. the party's over, bro. So last November, FTX left the crypto world. Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested. The 135 million FTX arena that had to be renamed. I almost said donation, basically. And Miami took essentially a major hit. So let me just set the stage here of what happened, and then we can weigh in on this. So rewind a few years ago, COVID, $5 trillion of new money was printed. Stimmy checks were sent galore. Assets were booming, including stocks, real estate, and crypto. And then it gets into basically what's happening in Miami. Miami has always had a love for fast money, but as they say, fast money comes with slow problems. Every time there's a boom, the city's invaded, and then there was a bust. The vacationers clear, just like the cocaine boom of the 80s. This was when I was living in Miami. You guys, this is prior to you guys being here. Or the housing crash of 08, which basically I remember people sleeping, like camping out for the opportunity to buy a house in Miami in 06 and 07. I was like, why are these homeless people? They're like, no, they're camping out trying to buy a place. Okay, I'm like, that was weird. The people who make it in Miami or anywhere play the long game, and they are slow and steady and win the race. The winners capitalize on the money spent in nightlife, in hospitality and real estate, on anything that provides infrastructure for a good time. So I've seen basically what happened in Miami in the last 25 years. You've been in Miami for how long now?
2 years.
Okay, so you've seen basically the boom and bust of what's happening with all the crypto bros that were out there popping bottles, fancy cars, the big tippers, making it rain. What have you seen in the last few years? And by the way, you've been here how long now, Destiny?
About a year and a half.
You've been here a year and a half, and you've been here how long?
21 years.
Oh, you've been in Miami 21 years. You're going to weigh in on this thing. Flo. All right, let's start with you, Brody. What have you seen over the last few years? The good, the bad, the ugly. Basically what this article is talking about with these crypto bros fleeing.
So I don't know if it's because I don't like go out like I used to. When I first moved here, I was going out a lot, and I know there was a lot of abundance. And now it feels like there isn't, but it could just be because I'm kind of past, the part of my life where I feel like I need to party that much.
Oh, you're such a grandma at 24 years old. Okay.
So it's just, I'm a little bit more particular about who and where. I've learned the hard way.
Okay, grandma, what have you seen?
And then working in nightlife, I've noticed that nightlife took a hit. We're still fine. We're still doing well. We're doing better than we did, 4 years ago or before COVID. But there was definitely like a crypto boom, and there were a lot of people that were excited to spend extreme amounts of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extreme amounts.
Extreme amounts.
Like, give me the craziest story you've seen.
I'm a bartender. So.
Yeah, but you worked at one of the biggest
Well, we
clubs.
have bottle runs.
Yeah.
We have. I mean, people like spend the amount of money that it would take to buy a luxury car on alcohol.
One night.
Yeah.
In an hour.
In an hour. And yeah, it's
Destiny, save that money, bro. Don't be popping bottles in the club.
It's crazy. I mean,
Not
like,
my best
I
option.
appreciate it because I benefit from it. I work in that environment and I want the club to be full, but coming from where I come from, that's crazy. Like
What financial lessons did you learn from that? Is there anything you took away saying like, all right?
never ever date or marry someone who would spend that much money on a bottle.
Okay.
That's a good lesson.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Flo, you're out there. You're a beautiful girl. You're a model. What have you seen out there?
To be quite honest with you, I don't go out a lot. I go out occasionally, so my opinion or what I have to say on this may not be if the same opinion as someone who does go out a lot in Miami. Nightlife is fun. However, when it comes to the financial aspect of it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I've personally never have had to worry about paying a bill in a nightlife experience.
Yeah,
But
hot
I-
chicks never have to worry about that. Welcome to the club.
Which is why I laugh. But I have read the news and I have seen articles and I have seen Only in Date where
Only in Dade. Shout out to Only in Dade.
Only in Date. You know that sometimes the card will even decline because of how much money people are spending and they're trying to do. Oh my God, yes.
show you.
Your card declined, literally, like in a
Oh, that
en un cartelito. I don't know how you say that in English.
The card declined. This is what?
the
They
like the
held up one of the
banner.
banners.
banners.
I'll show you a picture.
The
I
lit
will
up
say,
sign.
man, dude,
Yeah.
I just, because I did my Change My Mind events recently, the little college things, and at Penn State and UMD, it's really funny that I can take like my whole crew out, and I'll have like 6, 7, 8 people, and it's like I seem like I'm balling because I was like, oh, I got dinner for everybody, and for 6, 7, 8 people, it's like $140. That's
Where's
like
this at?
In like Pennsylvania, in like
Okay.
random places, and that might be what like me and Melina spent on
That's
dinner
like
for
a
just the two of
drink
us.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Like
where
literally
in Miami.
and it's like it's insane how expensive everything in Miami is when it comes to food. Yeah.
The whole guy with the sign thing.
Yeah.
Your card declined. Yeah, I think this is me speaking for someone who's born and raised in Miami and has been in the nightlife scene and has seen and is very, I would say, fiscally conservative with his money. I used to go out. You're talking to a kid that when he was 25 years old would go out with $5 in his pocket in South Beach, and I would go out and have the time of my life because I knew every promoter, every bartender, every club owner. I would go out with $5 and spend it on a slice of pizza at the end of the night when I was drunk as fuck. Keep in mind, I ballooned up to 230 pounds. Fat boy, save that money. But I basically, so I've seen it all, and I've seen the people come and go that come into Miami, high flying, renting cars for the weekend, popping bottles, living on high life. And the next thing you know, hey, where'd that guy Bill go? Yeah, he left. What happened? Oh, yeah. He was making a ton of money in real estate. He's gone. Oh, what happened to the Hector? Yeah, Hector got arrested, bro. He was a drug dealer. Oh, shit. That sounds for Hector. Hey, what happened to that guy, Jeff? Oh, yeah, dude. He was all about NFTs and Meta. His portfolio's down 97%. Where'd he go? He's back living with his parents now. Oh, shit. Save that money. So there's a couple things that I've realized. Is number one, that cash is king. Okay? So if you made some money in crypto and NFTs and Meta, convert it to real cash at some point or convert it to a real asset. Number two, they say that anytime you talk about investing or prospectuses, they say there's a huge thing. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Okay? So just because your Dogecoin blew up, homie, doesn't mean that that's going to be there forever. Save that money. Last thing, and I see this all the time, and I say, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" I say, I would rather build wealth slow than get rich quick. Okay? So there's so many people that I see coming to Miami that get rich quick. They kill it. They get something that happens to them, whether it's crypto, whether it's real estate, whether it's the metaverse, whatever nonsensical thing happened. But here's what happens. It's like when you build, anytime that you're building a house, you build a foundation for the house. And then you start stacking things on top of it. But if you start acquiring all these assets up top, but there's no solid financial foundation, the house is just going to crumble. So I've seen it time and time again, and it's something that does not shock me when I see something like this happen again in Miami. And again, past performance does not guarantee
I think depending on your
future
background,
results.
if you're making less than like 250K a year, you can blow through 250K way quicker than you ever thought possible. If you're coming from a
Yes.
background where like you've made like 20, 30, 40K, like when I went from carpet cleaning to streaming, it was like my first full year I made 100K. And in my mind, like I'm cutting, you know, $10,000 checks almost like every month. Like I'm never going to run out of this money. And after my first year, I didn't have anything else for taxes. I was like completely broke. I was like, holy
You
shit.
familiar with lifestyle creep?
Yeah, but it
That
wasn't even
concept?
lifestyle creep in a traditional sense where it was like I got a bigger house and a bigger car and any of that. It was just wasting money on dumb shit. It was flying places, ordering, not even ordering food. We didn't have Uber Eats back then. Going out to eat. It was just like money could disappear. Less than like, if you're making less than like, if you're in like the low 6-figure range, that money can disappear very quickly without even realizing what's going on. And that's
You know-
without even, I didn't even do drugs at that time, okay? So I wasn't even wasting that much money, right?
Wait till the drugs got
When you start
in.
doing drugs, now you can start blowing through a ton of money or alcohol or whatever. Yeah. so-
Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where I do feel the need to talk about financial prudence, especially on this show, because this is where finance meets romance. But again, there's so many people that I see come into the club. They walk into the club. They've so many of these crypto guys. I'm telling you right now, they've never been to a fucking club in their life. All of a sudden, they make $2 million on crypto, on peanut coin or whatever the hell they made their money on, and they walk in and they go the bartender and these women, you know this, are professionals. The hottest girl they've ever seen in their life, Brody and her whole crew strolls in. Flo, hi, welcome to here's a table right here. Yeah, we're doing a bottle service only, and yes, the minimum expenditure is $10,000 tonight. What card would you be using? And the guy's like, oh, giggity, oh, it's so hot, oh, my card. Next thing you know, oh, okay, cool. There's how many people at your table? Oh, yeah, there's a table minimum of 8. You have 10 people. Sorry, you're going to have to buy the table next to you. Yeah, that's going to be another $5,000 add-on. Next thing you know, this crypto dude has never been to a club before, he's never had zero financial prudence whatsoever. He just dropped 15 G's for a 4-hour party because he got there at midnight. The club is closing at 4. Maybe after that, he's going to run it over to 11. Now that's a 24-hour club. He's going to go drop another bottle right there. What homie doesn't understand is that he can just say, hey, cool, yeah, I'm not going to be doing, put a no minimum on my table, and I'll just be buying bottles, and I'll let you know what I end up spending. And unless you do a no minimum, I'm going to go to the club next door, and they'll offer me a no minimum, and I'll drop whatever I want to do. So now what happens is when you basically say enforce the rules and say, oh, no minimum, it's like, now you can buy 2 bottles, start with 3 bottles, and now you just dropped $2,500. Okay, cool. That's on a $15,000 night. But if you've never been in a club before, rookie status, you just dropped 15 G's when you could have dropped $2,500
I
or
don't know if that would
$1,500.
work, because sometimes, at least with the club that I work in, we're
Yeah.
so overbooked that like we don't accept tables that are under, 3,000. Like if you're not spending minimum of 3,000, we'll just
That
sell
was
the table
at the
to someone
height
else.
of crypto. Now, they're
I mean,
gonna,
we
oh,
just
you're going to
passed
spend
Miami Music
3,000?
Week
Please
and-
right this
and
way,
spring
sir.
break, but
Yeah.
it really just is dependent on the weekend.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that, they say that a man with money will meet a man with experience, and the man with experience will walk away with the money, and the man with the money will walk away with experience. It's exactly what happens to these young kids who've never had money in their life. They left with some experience, while the person with experience left with the money. And
Right.
that's just what I'll say. You know about that, Nat?
Now I do.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, Miami is known for the fronting and the flexing, so
Yes.
Miami's wonderful. But you go to nightlife, you will definitely experience people trying to pull out their rich quick money. Get rich quick
Get rich
money,
quick.
and you don't know what it took them to get there.
You know what's
So-
funny? I just realized this. You two actually met before, because you were at my table at Bodega at the model volleyball party. Flo was there with her friends having the time of her life. We were popping bottles.
were.
All free, by the way. Destiny showed up with Melina, and he's like, dude, get me the fuck out of here. I need some tacos. And
True.
quickly
I never got tacos,
went
by
out-
the way.
Oh, my bad. But Destiny did. We actually had a nice little private taco dinner. Me and you and Melina.
I wasn't ready for the 170 decibel fucking party room that you had back there. I didn't know that place even existed.
I love
Yeah.
Bodega.
Yeah, the back room in Bodega or whatever.
Shout
the
out
fuck.
to
Yeah.
Bodega.
Destiny walks in. I'm like, yeah, right this way. We get some tacos. Can we get tacos now? No, let's go in the bar first.
I thought you were taking me back to some private office.
Yeah.
Chat, and then
He
you
walks
open it
in.
up, and I'm like in fucking.
I bring Destiny into the
Jesus.
center of the club. How busy was the place that night?
It was
Packed. It was packed. I put Destiny center table. I kicked some girls out. Might have been you. Sorry, Flo. Destiny and Melina sitting there
wasn't
like
me.
this, like top of the thing. And he's like, I just see Destiny's face like. I go, you good? He goes, I'm not a club guy, bro. So we went, we got some tacos next door. But that was fun. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime that you want to come to the club.
My ears are still ringing.
Yes, they are. Let's move on. We've got a couple more topics. By the way, what time is it, Nat?
6:13.
6:13. So we've got about a half hour left. Anyone need to do a bathroom break? Wow, I'm proud
We
of you
went
guys.
before.
Thank you guys for being with us on the 100th episode of the Soscast. We're going to have some cake after this. Do we need any super chats that we need to do now?
Yes, I can do some.
All right,
super
let's do
chats.
some super chats
Okay.
and then we'll transition to the last couple stories. Go ahead, Nat.
Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. Thank you all for the super chats. I'm just gonna go through a few of them so we can get through it, so we can get through the rest of the episode. So we have, let's see, Destiny, Ryan, Dawson, waiting for the rematch. Destiny, you're freaking wrong about Tate. Destiny shouldn't be allowed to speak on certain
Do
relationships.
I get a cut of these or?
Yes, you get all the tacos you want.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
And then we have a shout out to Rebecca and other non-black women who discovered magic of. Gotta catch them all. I'm not sure about that one. Then we have the Tates are a counterweight to people like Destiny. Society needs both. It's healthy. And then it says, Destiny, when are you going to take the L on the Tate brothers being innocent? When the dust settles, will you also come out publicly and admit you're wrong? Would you do that if it?
I've never admit I'm wrong about what. I've said it from the beginning. Follow the process. See what happens.
Okay.
You guys are the ones saying, "Oh, it's probably a Matrix conspiracy that was rigged
I
against."
said
them."
90%.
I like the accent. I like the accent.
Were you making
Sounds
fun of
exactly
me
like
or were you
that.
making fun of
Like an
Brady?
amalgamation of every red
Okay,
pill
gotcha.
fucking asshole that's ever.
Spell amalgamation. That's a great word. That's awesome.
We also have
Do you want
all
me
of
to?
you. All of you in the chat actually need to listen to Destiny. Stop being in your feelings. Then we have Gina. Imagine being lied to and strung along by a chick, and then finding out she made a course on how to do it from other one, getting rich out of it. And then someone said, Gina, imagine being lied to. We are men and we are lied to all the time. Keep pushing. Destiny frames all the arguments in a small window. And then we have another one, Guyanese represent, Georgetown represent. The poll answer, will Tates be acquitted to all charges? 59% says yes, 40% says no.
Wow,
Yes.
I'm actually shocked by those results.
Yeah, me too,
By the way,
actually.
after this, do a poll.
Okay.
Are you proud to be American?
Oh, I like that.
Wonderful.
After this.
I'll do that poll. And then you have these last few. Then we have Dildo Swaggins.
The name is what?
Dildo Swaggins.
Sick name, bro.
He said most women can milk men out of money, but most men can't do the same thing for you know what. Women are praised and taught to use men. Look at it. Cardi B is a female version of Bill Cosby. Craig.
Oh, Bill Cosby, I'm assuming.
No, that's not what it says. It's BYLLKOZBEE. That's not Bill Cosby.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe the person
Everyone
can't
wants to
spell.
roast me, but I know what I'm reading. Okay. Then we have Craig. He says, I have no country to fight for. My country is the earth, and I am citizen of the world. That's from Eugene V. Debs from 1915. And then we have John Doe. Tell me Destiny never lived in Europe without telling me he never lived in Europe. It's America, but much poorer with a significantly less upward mobility and with more civil unrest fueled by idiotic ECB spending. Learn to read the stats. Then we have another one. Destiny, you're being a little emotional, refusing to actual statistic and facts with few exceptions. The number one destination of EU and Asian immigrants is the US. Stop arguing with data from Twitter. Then we have the last few. We have Destiny, as a U.S. veteran living in Honduras and all over the Central America, you come off extremely little ignorant. Get some life experience outside the tourist destination and video games. Then we have Gina. If Gen Z's...
I better get 2 slices of cake for this.
Yeah, you can have as much cake as you want. Then you have Gina. If Gen Z sucks so much, then quit trying to F them with those millennial boxes then. Then here's another one. Message for Gen Z. Eat healthy. Curtail your negativity. Meditate. Shout out to Brody. We love ya. And then let me see if we have any last minute.
Aw, Brody.
There you
Give
go.
Brody some love.
Chat. That's
Give
it.
Brody some love.
That's all the chats I'll read for now
Yes.
because I know we have to finish off with the rest of the episode. But thank you all for the super chats. We appreciate it. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, and let's get this.
Let me give a shout out to somebody real quick, and that person is Destiny.
Oh, I like
Because
that.
let me tell you something out there, guys, and I appreciate all the super chats.
Yes.
This guy, he's got fucking balls.
Yes, he does.
He will go on any podcast. He will debate anybody.
Yep.
Left, right, up, down. He ain't scared.
Yep.
Okay? Is he right on everything? Clearly not. But is he right on a lot of stuff? Yes. But you know what's the famous Teddy Roosevelt quote or the poem about the man in the arena? You know, give credit to the man in the arena, the man who shows up, that is in the middle of the fight, that has blood and tar and sweat on his face. It's so easy to comment from afar.
Right.
It's a lot harder to be here and do what Destiny does. So shout out to you, Destiny.
Shout out
I
to
got a lot of
Destiny.
I don't need your applause.
I know you don't need my
I didn't-
applause.
I didn't come here for you to.
I know.
suck me off after me
But-
super chats.
but your
Okay.
voice-
Destiny,
but your
This
you
is
were
not
about to get 2 slices
Oh
of cake,
my God.
motherfucker. now you're getting
What's
one.
the next topic? What do you got?
He's not the one that cried,
And-
okay?
See, this,
But a voice like Destiny is needed. You know, if you don't
True.
have some of your
Yes.
opinions and your thoughts challenged, you're not really understanding different perspectives.
that's what you got to
So I
appreciate
think
about
it's important
Destiny.
to have
Even when you
someone
give
like
Destiny credit and give him
here.
a compliment, he goes, "Fuck you."
Yeah. No, but I appreciate that you come on the the Soscast and you stand firm in your beliefs and you back it up and everything, because that's important for people to hear and to listen. And as much as you get hate and the heat and all those things, it's important to hear that perspective. So we appreciate you here. Don't
Thanks
forget
a lot.
that. And you can have
There
I
you
cake.
feel
go.
appreciated. Thank
There you go. That's it. That's
Next
it.
show though, shots of tequila before we start. Okay.
Yeah, we should. How do we?
Absolutely.
Where's the tequila at today?
Oh, should I go bring the bottles out?
Do
with
you want
sparklers?
tequila shot?
Well, we're at the end now. So
no, we got
it's fine.
about 25 minutes left. Do you want to take a shot of tequila?
It's too late. We're
Your
at the
card
end.
did not
All right,
decline.
let's go.
Destiny. Plus you're driving.
No
All right.
card will be charged.
We've talked a lot about we talked about crypto, we talked some finance, we talked American values, we talked a couple things. Let's get into some relationship topics right there, and what's going on, sort of trending topics, and we'll talk about hypergamy and how the role of a man, the role of a woman, and this kind of stuff. I'm not looking at you for any particular reason, but let's stick around this story that's happening currently in Miami. We're all familiar with what's happening with Tom Brady and his divorce from Giselle. Nat's getting a little fired up right now. Now, who the rumors are that Giselle is dating is pretty interesting. Do you know who she's rumored to be dating? Oh, you're going to appreciate this one.
Yup.
Okay, so
Pete
Giselle.
Davidson.
Huh?
Pete Davidson.
I
Oh,
know,
if it's
right?
Pete Davidson, a freak out. So it's not a household name, but you're going to be very familiar
Yes.
with this rumor right here. So Giselle's new man, reportedly, is Miami billionaire developer Jeffrey Sofer. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
He's your boss, honey.
No.
He owns the Fontainebleau and he owns Story nightclub.
Just kidding.
Dave Grutman
I know you,
works
Jeff.
for him. You
Love
never
you.
heard that name?
No, no.
Wow, that is insane.
He's, the
This guy right there?
They operate in the shadows.
Okay. So Giselle's reportedly seeing Miami billionaire developer and Tom Brady's friend, Jeffrey Sofer. This guy owns the Fontainebleau, which is the #1 destination in Miami.
I
Live.
am employed by Fontainebleau.
Exactly. So I told you, I'm shocked.
Thank
Hopefully-
you, by the
hopefully
way.
still.
So I'm not going to be bashing Jeff
Hopefully, I'll continue
Sofer.
being employed.
Exactly. We're not going to be bashing Jeff Sofer because we enjoy going to his establishments. But we are going to be talking about what we think is happening with Giselle, but more importantly, weighing in on some of the valuable lessons that we can learn from this. Because apparently she was dating, this dude, this jiu-jitsu instructor, her kid's jiu-jitsu instructor. But we know that when women break up with a very powerful rich man like Tom Brady, let's just say rich, successful, sometimes for short term, they'll do stuff for fun. But for long term, there is something called hypergamy, which is the act of dating up. And a wealthy, beautiful woman like Giselle is not just going to date some clown or some jiu-jitsu instructor. Now that he's a clown, he'll probably whoop my ass. Your ass too, Destiny. But there's a valuable lesson here with hypergamy that women will not date down for a long-term relationship. So I said very publicly, good luck, Giselle, finding the next Tom Brady. How many good-looking, successful 40-plus men out there that she'd be willing to date that are attractive to her, that are single, have worth than $400 million, and that actually live her type of lifestyle? Like, you can count it on one hand. And lo and behold, this guy Jeffrey Sofer is one of them. He's worth $2.2 billion. If you know anything about Miami, I'm actually shocked you don't. He's a name. He's Dave Grutman's boss. Put it that way. And Dave Grutman is who?
Dave Grutman is my boss.
Exactly. So he's your boss's boss. Just put it that way. Exactly. Giselle's net worth is $400 million. Tom Brady's net worth after his new massive NFL deal with Fox is now $500 million. Jeffrey Sofer's net worth is $2.2 billion. So we had talked about hypergamy, about women will typically never date down long term. They will date up, where men gladly will date down. They'll take some young hot chick that's got nothing going on and say, hey, you're coming with me now, baby. But here's my question. There's something called the bro code, right? And the bro code is that if basically your homie is dating a girl or married to a girl, she's off limits. So my question is this. Did Jeff Sofer, who's friends with Tom Brady, and this is all allegedly, we don't know of any of this facts, they've been seen together, did he go against the bro code in now dating Giselle if he's in fact friends with Tom Brady? If it's true, who's in the wrong here? Who's not in the wrong? Can Giselle do what he wants? This guy, by the way, was married at one point to Elle Macpherson. If you don't know who Elle Macpherson is, like before there was like Pamela Anderson, before there was Carmen Electra, before there was Gigi and Bella Hadid and Kendall Kardashian. Pull up a picture of Elle Macpherson. Okay, she was one of the biggest supermodels on the planet. That was his ex-wife. You can just go back to that article. You have that?
Yeah.
Okay, Elle Macpherson. Scroll in a little bit. Boom. So this guy, you know, he dates. He gets some good stuff going on right there. Now, you women aren't. Actually, probably an unfair question for you guys to answer bro code because you're not bros. I'm just going to go out and say this. Gentlemen, don't break the bro code. Here's what I will say for the ladies. Have any of you, and I get that one of us has a husband here, ever dated a guy you were dating and end up dating one of his friends? Thoughts on this concept? Go ahead.
No.
No? Is this
No,
why is that?
I wouldn't, because I think if you're dating someone, you get to know a certain aspect of them, whether that's intimately, physically, or intimately, period. I also just got out of a relationship, so I don't know much about dating now because I was with my ex-boyfriend for almost 4 years, which was all of my early 20s. But I would not date one of his friends or would want to date someone, or would I want that to be done to me as well.
Okay.
So,
Brody?
No, never. I also think that these are adults and they can do what they want.
Yeah.
So like, they have kids. I'm just like,
Rebecca, you're
Yeah.
exempt from this one because your husband's here. We're not going to. But there is a term called homie hopping that we talked about right here. I'm more interested. I'm not so much interested in whether you would date the guy's friend. It's, you know, a lot of guys are very uncomfortable with women having guy friends. Okay? So, like, because they're worried, all right, like, who's this guy? Like, what's going on here? Like, do you have any rules? Like, does James set any boundaries? Like, that's it. Any guy friends, they're cut off. You're married now, you got kids.
No, I cut them off.
Ooh,
Like
wait.
I cut off any. I barely have girlfriends, so like.
But you elected to cut them off and say, why? I'm happily married now. I don't need any of that drama in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly had like gay guy friends, and they don't want to hang out with a married woman. It's
now
just
you're
true.
boring.
No, it's just true. But I will say about this Giselle and whatever, you don't really have many options going up the ladder, right? Like you dated or you were married to Tom Brady for what, 12, 15 years?
Yes.
His friends are the only pool you can actually get from at that point. I'm sorry. Like, I could see why she would go over there.
I would care, like, at that point, I feel like I have money. You know, like I dated this guy, I married this guy, I have money. Now what I care about is, like, a father figure or, like, someone who's going to be, like, you know, an emotional. Like, I think women of that caliber who have that much financial stability, they don't, it's interesting that she went for him because I would think that at this point she would date for she would look for other things.
Well, like I said, you know, this is human nature.
Yeah.
Women, we just saw this with Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott Bezos. Short term, women will date for fun, AKA she's dating the Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. But at some point, human nature kicks in, and hypergamy is a real thing. I'm sure you've done episodes about this. That she's not going to date no slouch. She's going to need, every woman says this, that they want someone on her level or above. And whether you're Giselle and you're worth $400 million, or whether you're a hot model and you make $100,000, Like, you're not going to date down. It's just against your nature. You're just not going to do it. So Giselle, whether she's having fun with the jiu-jitsu instructor, short term, that's fine. But the dating pool is so small for someone that beautiful, so successful.
They're probably
and that's
all
why I kind of was
friends.
saying, good luck finding the next Tom Brady. And it might be this guy, it might not be. But I'm not shocked that she's now dating a billionaire.
Yeah.
Nat, thoughts on this topic? Because I know you were very eager to weigh in on this.
Yeah,
Camera over there.
I think everybody was kind of looking for her to fall in her face, essentially, after leaving Tom. You know, everyone looks at Tom as like the GOAT. He's the man. Like, how can you top someone like this? And, you know, you see who she picks, and from the outside, we're all looking like, oh, like he's making more money. You know, this guy has a lot of money. She's winning. But I would like to think that she's looking for something more than that. A lot of the time when people make money like that, they become a person who can make money like that. And that's usually the attractive characteristic of that person, is who they become during that process. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised that she picked somebody who is a little bit more on the wealthier end. Again, I'm not surprised. It is like one of their friends as well, and Tom does know them. And at the end of the day, if that's someone then that's making her happy and she's looking for a future with him, then, you know, I wish the best to her. But I will say, you were ready to shoot her down and tell us that she was gonna lose and she's never gonna find anyone who was gonna be as good as Tom. And I'm gonna call you out, Sos. You know,
Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
But I am
Public
gonna say
apology.
that just because at the end of the day, don't think just because, you know, you had a great ex that you feel like you can't top, that no one is out there for you, because you'll be surprised the people who are around you and the places that you can put yourself in a position to find somebody who can fit and, you know, be better than your ex, and it feels like they fill all the boxes better than your ex. So don't get so caught up in the, how am I going to find better, because better is out there. You just have to look for it and place yourself in the position for it.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be doing a public apology right now. But what I did say, so I will admit that I did get caught up in my feelings because I am a huge Tom Brady
I
fan.
know.
And if you ask me what the poster, like the poster child or the poster family of a beautiful situation is, the quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, GQ Tom Brady, marries supermodel Giselle, kids, family. Like, if this motherfucking thing don't work out, what will? Okay, so when she leaves him, he didn't leave her.
Yeah.
She left Tom Brady. I'm like, oh, this bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, this bitch.
Feeling.
Good luck out there, Giselle. Good luck finding another Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And you know what? She went through her fucking Rolodex and she's like,
She saw the
okay.
Soscast episode.
She's like, yep, there's like 4 people on this dude's level. Because think about it. She's not just gonna date some rich dude. She can go marry some fucking Saudi Arabian prince who's got a gut out to here. That's not what she wants, a good looking guy. So enter Tom Brady's homie, Jeff Sofer, who happens to be a billionaire, 4x time what he's worth. So what I will say is this, a lot of women around me were like, oh, we'll show you. So of course it was a girl in my life that sent me this article that's like, see? I'm not apologizing on behalf of Tom Brady. I will say that hypergamy is the winner here, because good luck finding the next Tom Brady. She found a billionaire. Shocker alert. Don't forget that women will not date down long-term gentlemen. That is human nature.
I do want
Miss Rebecca Barrett.
I want to say, too, you think that, you know, for you as an outsider looking at Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, you're thinking that's like the dream marriage,
Correct.
yada, 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 right? Like that's the pinnacle. That's what people aspire to. However, you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't understand the resentment that can build up over time, especially because she's probably asking for one thing, which is presence and attention and affection towards her family. And I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying at a certain point when you're so fed up, she's not looking at Tom Brady the same way everyone else is looking at Tom
Yes.
Brady. She sees him as the guy who farts next to her on the bed, who
Listen,
snores. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Tom Brady does not fart. Okay?
Yes, he does.
He wins Super Bowls. What is wrong with you, Rebecca?
I'm just
I'm
saying,
kidding.
you know, she's looking at him like he snores and he's breathing really loud and he's annoying.
But she
like,
wants him to do more of that and stay home with her.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, you have to understand, there's a point where, like, there's a level of resentment that you just don't come back from, and it doesn't matter if he, like, that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back.
Let me say one thing, and I really appreciate you bringing this up, because sometimes you need a smart, opinionated, happy housewife to just bring us back to reality. We've done multiple episodes about the 3 Ps, about what men must bring to the table for women. Be a provider, be a protector, and being present for his woman. And an overabundance of women, when I ask them that, what is the most important to you?
Presence.
They say being present in my life. He can have all the money in the world, and he can be the biggest alpha in the world and provide and protect for me. But if he's not there for me, it's doing nothing for me. And that is the one thing that I would say that men who've got a lot going on, okay, whether it's myself, whether it's Tom Brady, whoever, whether it's Destiny, this guy's all over the map, it's that it is very hard for us to remain present. And that women constantly say, quality time, be there for me, listen to me, communicate with me, hear me out. Guys are like, yo, what up? How you doing? All right, cool, go straight. We go to, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Women are like, no.
Was it with you, or was it, I'm trying to think if it was with Pearly things. I don't talk about, like, I'm not like a wealth flaunting person or whatever, but I was on a podcast, we were talking, and somebody mentioned that, like, if your girl ever has problems, like, if you buy her like a nice, like, piece of jewelry, like, that's a good way to, like, smooth over a lot of problems. And I don't know what your relationship stuff is like, but, like, there's no amount of money that I could throw at my relationship.
No,
ever.
actually, no.
And on the contrary, it would be like something like, I love you, Melina, if you're watching. If I, like, take the day off and spent, like, a whole like 12 hours with my wife, like, that counts for more than what, like, flying her anywhere in the world without me or doing anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at my guy. James is here supporting his wife.
James took the day off on the last day of the month in sales. You know how
Close out.
Close out. He said, no, I'm going to take the day. And
clap it up for James and Rebecca. That is a husband right there.
Yes.
But that's true. I mean, this is something that I quite frankly am learning. Is to be more present. Because I've done, with any serious relationship, I've done the whole 5 love languages with girls.
Yeah.
And I remember just the girl that I was briefly married to for a hot second. Because it was that quick, like in and out. I remember we did the whole thing. We lived together. She worked for me. I employed her. Like, we traveled together, and we did the whole love language thing. And at the top of her list was quality time. And at the bottom of my list was quality time.
That's how it is.
And I go, what are you talking about, quality time? We spend like 24 hours. She goes, no. I just need 5 minutes where you're there for me. And I'm like, I'm there for you every second of the day. She's like,
off the phone.
Dude,
yes.
I had so many fights with my wife. We'll go through the whole week. We work out 5 times a week together. We've gone to dinner twice. We watched, like, all of The Last of Us, a show that came out recently. And by the end of the week, she'll be like, we didn't spend a minute together. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Yes. Right.
That is accurate. That is accurate.
Because guys don't operate that way. If you and I were hanging out,
it would be so much cooler to just be gay. Like, could you imagine you're hanging out with a bro, you guys are like on your phone, you play a few games, and you're like, good time together, and you're like, amen, dude, fuck each other, and then you're good, you know.
Destiny,
go that far.
I'm not with you on that one.
It would be so simple.
I'm not with you on that one. I don't think most men are. But that is the problem.
That's how we got to free ourselves from these hypergamous women. It's got to be the bro code, the new bro code.
Please tell me you're doing a comedy bit right now.
I am. Can I say something earlier?
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to dispel, because there's a lot of people that are listening to a lot of the crazy things you guys are saying about bro code and dating friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Here is the reality. Anytime, there's a few things in life that I've learned. This is one of those things that I've learned, and I will die by it. Anytime a girl or a guy says some shit where it's like, I'm not looking for somebody right now, I'm not dating somebody, I wouldn't date my friend's friends, blah, 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 blah. If 2 people hit it off, it doesn't matter what the fuck the relationship is, they will date each other. It could be your fucking ex-fiance. It could be your, depending on how far south you go, it could be your brother or sister. It can be your fucking friend of your wife, her like sister-in-law, anybody. If 2 people hit it off, they will. There's a reason why people say, like, you know, like bro code and bros before hoes and whatever. People say that because people don't do it, right? We wouldn't have those sayings if people weren't constantly putting like women or men. And everybody's got like that friend that when they start dating somebody, they like disappear from your life for like 6 months while they get lost in a new relationship. Like, that's don't ever mind fuck yourself into thinking that like, oh, this person would never do that or this person never do that. People, if 2 people click, it's gonna happen. They'll hide it, they'll lie about it, but absolutely will. I think
there's no denying your accuracy on that one. I think what a guy can do though is put up like defense mechanisms, so people who have ulterior motives that are close to his girl cannot basically prey upon the relationship. I'll give you an example. I mean, I'm being real revealing right now. My last 2 girlfriends, the one I was engaged to and the one that I was living with before that, One is now remarried, not married, she's married, and one is dating. They're both best guy friends. And I'm like, why is this guy always hitting you up? Oh, he's just my friend. What's up with this guy? Oh, he's just my friend. I'm like, well, now you're married to him, and now you're dating him, like in hindsight. So it's like, dude's got to be very weary of the friend that's checking in on the girl. Because
Well, I
I'm
mean,
living
if the
proof
relationship ends,
that the
but-
guy that I shouldn't be worried about is now married to my ex-wife.
Well, but it's not like they didn't end the relationship because of those guys, right?
True, they did not end the relationship with that. But
Any
you know,
girl that you see,
what-
though, if there is a girl in a relationship and she's like a decently attractive,
Yes.
there are at least 6 guys in the roster
no doubt.
waiting to take your
And there's
their
also a
place, yeah.
famous phrase, and I don't care what you say, I will die on this. A shoulder to cry on is also a dick to ride on. So that's just how that works.
That's
Okay.
not healthy, ladies.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
All right,
do
I'm
that.
just letting you know right now. All right, moving on. Since we're talking about Tom Brady and Giselle, let's talk about the lady that Tom Brady is dating these days. This girl, who is gorgeous, by the way, just scorched modern women. Scorched. What this gorgeous girl who was the former Miss Slovakia had to say about women looking for walking wallets. Let's just take a look at it. Tom Brady's rumored lover, Veronica Rajek, slams women who look for walking wallets, not partners. Just show a quick what this girl looks like. She seems, if we can scroll in a little bit, she seems like a very nice person. Okay? Can we just agree upon that? She just seems, I don't know, something about her seems very nice and lovely. Here's what she had to say about modern women today, and obviously I want to get your ladies' thoughts on this, not you, Destiny. Here's what she had to say. Bear with me, because this is what Tom Brady's rumor new girlfriend had to say about modern women today, about women looking for walking wallets. She said, young men today face too much pressure for women's unrealistic high expectations. It's tough to find wifey material out there. It's really difficult to find someone to be with you in the good and bad times. 80% of women, in her opinion, are gold diggers looking for walking wallets. They want the lifestyle, the millionaires, the jets, the mansions, the bags, the cars. But most men our age don't have it like that. Most rich men are over 40. Like us, Destiny. You'll be there soon. Most women are completely lost and have the wrong priorities. She doubles down. And now she says they need to adjust their expectations or their relationships will be miserable and unsuccessful. That is not how you grow together and build a healthy relationship. You can't expect a man to slave away from you. It's too much pressure on the man. And she concludes with this. Women need to ask themselves, what are you bringing to the table and what are you offering? Ladies, what do you think about what she had to say in her scorching disposition on modern women? Who'd like to start?
I can start. I don't think she's wrong, but I think she's speaking on a specific demographic. I would not say 80% of women. I think the majority of women are actually more independent and refuse to take anything from a man. I think it really depends which state you're in, and it depends what, like in Miami, I think it's correct to say that probably 80% of women are looking for a very wealthy man who will take care of them forever. But if you go to New York and you insinuate that, you know, the girls there, you know, they're man eaters, you know, so.
Yeah,
that's
women
my
in New
take.
York will definitely work for their paycheck versus
Yeah.
typical girl in Miami.
Yeah, they'd rather work much harder.
Okay, so you're disagreeing with what she has to say.
And
Well,
not,
how
not with
much
what
do you
she's saying.
disagree?
I
How
only
much-
I only disagree with the numbers that with the like estimated percentages that she
So the
used.
only thing you're disagreeing with is that 80% of women. So
Yeah, I
what
don't think
percentage
it's-
of women do you think have this mindset then?
80% in Miami.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
assessment.
In East,
Okay.
in the Miami Beach Brickell area.
Yeah,
specifically, right?
Gotcha.
yeah,
So
specifically.
you're saying,
Miami
but it's
Beach
not
Brickell.
just exclusive to Miami. You can throw LA in that category.
LA
you can
for
throw any.
sure, yeah.
You can throw Vegas in that category.
Yeah.
You
I
can
feel
throw
like
certain
Miami
European
is,
cities.
Miami
It
is
is
a different
different.
breed of woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even compared to fucking LA,
Also men.
Santa Monica, I've never been to a place in LA that is like Miami Beach for the type of women. I've never.
Yeah.
What have you experienced with the women in Miami
In
Beach?
terms of like the amount of like money here, like if you like if you see a brown person in fucking Miami Beach, they're like fucking royalty from like back home. Like everybody's like that's immigrated here is rich as fuck. From my personal experience and from Melina's experience, there are a lot. If I go to LA, Or if I go to like New York or Austin, there's a lot of people that are rich and they're working really good jobs and like rich, or they're doing investments or whatever, and they're rich. In Miami, it's a lot of people that don't even work. Their families are just fucking wealthy as fuck. They don't even have jobs. And I this is like a thing, I talked to Melina so much about it. I was like, what the fuck do these people do for work? She's like, I don't know. They go to the beach all day, they hang out. Like one of them is like a lawyer, but like nobody else like has any jobs down here. They're all just like fucking super filthy rich. And then in terms of like how out there the appearances are of all the people down here, it's a very particular type of thing. The BBLs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I would say, like, I feel like Miami, I mean, I only lived in the LA area for 3 years, but I feel like the Miami, this South Beach area, and then over, like, downtown Miami, it's very different from even other cities in the U.S. That's just my experience, but I don't go out as much, maybe.
But this girl does not live in Miami, just to be clear.
No, she's milking an audience online of that Redpill shit. I don't think she
I was gonna say, she's listening to a lot of Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what she's doing right
I mean, she's accurate. Like, I think that I agree with Brody that I don't think it's the majority of women. I think if you're looking at these specific groups or these specific podcasts or people that are speaking online, you can assume, like if I was watching Fresh and Fit every day of my life for like 6 hours a day, I would think that every woman was like that. But then you go to different places across the US, you just even like from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. Like you're not seeing the same girl in Fort Lauderdale than you're seeing in Miami or even Orlando. Like,
or even Miami to Miami. Go west to Miami more,
So yes, I do think that women milk men for their money. I don't think it's that like 80, 90%. But like just go to the Midwest, go somewhere else. Like, you're gonna find good women out there that are looking for traditional values, and if that's what you want, go for them.
It's also interesting coming from a woman dating
Tom Brady.
dating Tom Brady.
She's like,
That was my whole point. I was like, easy when you look like that and you're dating Tom Brady, now you're shitting on women.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's in her early 20s, mid-20s.
Jesus.
Like 25.
Wow.
I mean,
Find her age,
Good for
Veronica
her. Good
Rajek.
for her. Enjoy
no,
yourself.
good for her, and I think that she's right on a few things. I think that she may be consuming a lot of the talking points out there, and it's easy to get lost in the sauce.
27.
She's
Soscast.
27.
Yeah, okay, so
Leonardo
her
DiCaprio
age-
would fucking throw her in 2 years ago. Expired milk. So, all right.
Expired milk.
So, just to be clear, and you live in Miami. Do you want to weigh in on this? Go
I live
ahead.
in Miami because I have two sides of the story. So I'm a model. In the modeling industry, you do see a lot of, hey, I'm a gold digger, I want money, I want to be with people who have money, etc.
You're saying that the models operate like that?
The majority of them.
Okay.
A majority,
The majority
that
of the
I
models.
know.
Ooh.
Yes. And this is not, to talk crap. This is just what I have experienced. And I come from a very work for what you want. And then, yes, when the time comes for you to meet your future husband or the guy that's in your life or whatever, yes, he'll be a provider, but you're not depending on him. And you are not going to weigh in on, okay, hey, like this is what I want from you to get for me from the store when you can go ahead and get it for yourself. So seeing that in the modeling industry, it's really opened up my eyes, because I guess you can say I also lived in this world where I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I know how to work for what I want and I know how to be independent. But then having friends in the modeling industry, it's like, no, we don't do that. We wait, or we go out and we seek for it, but making sure that it's coming from someone else. So it's like, but you can work for it. So I've had to learn, or better yet, just be mindful of situations like this that happen. That happen because I also don't live in the city of Miami, like Brickell, South Beach, or downtown. I live in Kendall, which is a wonderful city that I've grown up in for the past 20 years. And it's very family-based, your schools, your cities, your day-to-day jobs, etc. So seeing that side of the story, it's also different when you incorporate in my line of work, so that when people see me, it's like, oh, you're so pretty, you must be like every other girl. I'm like, no, this is not it. Like, if I'm gonna be with you, it's because I want to be with you. We hit it off, whether I said I'm dating now or I'm not dating now. We hit it off, and hey, it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire or if you have 30 grand in your bank account. If I think I like you, I'm gonna be with you through thick and thin. And if it works out, great. And if it doesn't,
So let me ask you guys this, because the biggest objection that I heard was, I agree for the most part, but I definitely disagree with the whole 80% of women operate like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So what I want to kind of hone in on is what percentage of women nationally in America, or even internationally for that matter, do you think operate as like looking at men as walking wallets, and what women are like, yeah, I don't need a man to pay for anything. So if you could just kind of give me your opinion on the numbers. So if it's not 80, what number do you think it is?
I think 80% of women are hyper independent in America.
So you think that it's closer to
opposite.
20% and is the
Yeah.
exact opposite?
And I think it's like the 20% is like the 20% of the population that is genetically blessed to be naturally good looking and therefore assumes that
They can
maybe
pull it
won't-
off.
Yeah. I think most
Sometimes
people-
these girls who operate like this aren't even that good looking, and they just kind of entitlement
And it's
issues.
surprising. I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think everyone is beautiful in their own way, really. But physically, sometimes I'm like, you did that? Like,
Who's gonna
you-
go there?
I
Let's
was
go
like,
there.
you really did that?
Basically,
like,
you're saying you're
it's
not even
surprising.
hot enough to have that kind of
it's-
attitude. Go ahead,
no,
Get some
it's-
names.
Yeah,
Whoa,
name
dude.
some names, Flo.
Some names.
No,
He names
it's just
names.
I'm flabbergasted at times. I'm like,
you
what?
did-
So how hot do you have to
does
be
this
to have this kind of
happen?
mentality? You have to be a 9 or a 10 or higher?
I think it's just
I
your
mean, let's
mentality
are
that
you
gets
kidding
you
me?
there.
I
Let's
think you're
talk.
pretty good at sales. I think
Rebecca,
you
go
know how
ahead.
to sell yourself.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of looks. I've seen gentlemen with like terrible looking women. No offense, you know. Like I know you say all women are beautiful, but no offense. But I think it's a matter of like the sales part. How do you sell yourself to this gentleman, and how do you get them to feel like they want to spend on you? I don't think it's just looks. Like I don't
it's like
think
how much
looks
you
is
can
really
stomach
it.
someone you
Rebecca,
don't
what
like.
percentage of women do you think operate like this?
I would probably say, I don't know, I like that 80-20 rule, but I would skew probably 20%. Maybe less than that, like Brody said, because
Yeah, less.
honestly, like, to be honest, if I'm looking at the women out there in the world, just in general, we have a skewed look at how we think about ourselves. Like, I know girls that are very heavy set that like probably need to go to the gym a little bit, saying that they're a 10 out of 10, they don't need improvement, they're the best version of themselves. Like,
Oh, don't get me started on these women, Rebecca.
well, I'm just saying, like, I genuinely think that we have a hyperinflated view of, you know, what we look, and then we get disappointed when the men don't want to caress our roles.
Very diplomatic. Caress our
Caress
roles.
our roles.
Did you mean like gender roles or like
No.
physical roles?
Physical muffin tops.
Okay, what percentage of women do you think operate like this nationally and then in Miami?
Okay, that is a great question. So let's start off local. I want to say local, especially because of the industry that I'm in. I will definitely go with the 80-20. 80 going for they do operate like this, 20 going for
Oh,
that
so you
they're
agree with Brady's
independent.
girl?
For Miami.
Miami.
Okay.
In the city of Miami. Growing up in Miami, in my industry as well. And also like when I'm talking about my friends, like these are my friends from church. Like
Yeah.
I love Jesus. I go to church and then it's like, okay, but I'm also in the modeling industry. So it's like you see a little bit of everything, you know? But I want to say worldwide. So I'm an international model, and I've had the opportunity to travel to India, Sri Lanka, Japan, El Salvador. And I think, honestly speaking, I have seen the level of independence in women as a high rising. It's pretty cool to witness coming from Miami. And I would go maybe with like a 70-30. 70 independence, 30 dependent rate.
Okay, gotcha. Destiny, you never wanted to shy away from topics?
Yeah,
You
I'd say like 3 or 4%.
3 or 4%?
That are actually like this. Like if you look at the
Yeah.
data, most people date within their geography, within their social class, within their race. Like
Yeah.
that's just most people just date people around them. That's just like
That's most people, but when we're talking about gorgeous models, that's
gorgeous
they can be
models.
broke
are-
as shit. They can date Tom Brady.
If you're really
That's
pretty,
not
but you're
that's
talking
not
like
that's
top,
not people around them.
sure, but this is top what percent, right? If you're the top 1% in looks, you might be able to date the top 1% in money. But in general, people date like the people around them, I think.
And also
Okay.
looks fade. You know, it's like your substance at the end of the day is what? Will
Yeah,
you
but then you
red?
get a new girl. Then you do the
looks
Leonardo
fade.
DiCaprio.
Looks
Leonardo
fade.
That's a good segue.
The muffin
Everyone is
top will
teeing up the next
increment.
topic like
your
crazy right
wrinkles
now.
are gonna get more wrinkly. The stretch marks are gonna get more stretchier. Like there's only so much Botox can do. Looks fade.
I love that. Your stretch marks are going to get more stretchier. Okay.
Shout out
Nat,
to
you want to
Search
weigh in on this
Marks,
before we go to the next topic?
I'm kind of like, I would say like 10%. I don't think like a lot of women like are pocketing men like.
So basically, all we're
Pocket
saying is that a very small percentage of women are quote unquote gold diggers.
Yeah.
And it's not at this 80% number.
Yeah.
But they out there.
They're
out
out
there.
there.
Be weary,
They're
gentlemen.
out there, and I think when you're in certain areas, you're gonna get more of it. But I
Yes.
don't think it's like your everyday woman either. And just be careful out there if you have
Yeah.
that mindset, because you'll miss out on a great girl with that mindset.
It's
love
sort of an old, because I was just at Ultra, okay, the other day. Quick story, then we'll go to the next thing. I was just at Ultra, and obviously I met you at Model Volleyball 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I interview a lot of women, models. At Ultra, I was interviewing all the party girls that were there. I was shocked by how much they didn't care about money. Shocked.
Really?
You're talking, yes. I was like, meaning, how much money do you want your man to make? How much do you care? And to the point where I'm expecting six figures. I'm expecting that. And there was a crazy number of women who were like, no, I don't care. I work. I can take care of my man. I was like, all right, would you be willing to take care of your man? And would you lose respect for your man if he made significantly less for you? And I'm thinking that is a red line.
Yeah.
Like, this is not how I roll whatsoever. And so many young women were okay with this. I don't know if that's modern feminism that's kind of seeping in and being like, I don't need no man, I make my own money.
I think the
kind of a
percentage
thing.
of women that are willing to date a guy that makes less than them,
Yes.
that number has been rising over time. Over the past,
Okay,
like,
so
10
you have some
years.
stats on this?
Yeah, I think if you look up like woman willingness date down socioeconomic, like the number's been increasing over time
And why do you think that is?
because women are earning more money.
Yeah.
There's a weird thing where like people,
Ah.
the way that you phrase the question before, like people go back, like women always make somebody that earns or marry somebody that always earns more than them.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but for a lot of human history, that's because women aren't working. So by necessarily, of course, they're going to be marrying
Aha.
somebody.
So you're saying times they are changing.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have strong feelings about modern feminism and all this. But is it income driven, or is it just finding a man and not being single? And one of the questions I asked women was, would you rather? This is so funny because I think of you when I talk about this type of stuff. Would you rather be single and successful, or a happily married housewife? That was one of the questions I asked all these women at Ultra. And they're partying, they're having the time of their life. What do you think the most common answer was? 80%, maybe 90%, single and successful, single and successful, single and successful. And I interviewed like groups of girls at a time. And occasionally, very occasionally, one girl would be like, yeah, I don't know, girls. I kind of want to be happily married. And the girls are like, what? And it was just, so, I mean, you must have strong feelings about this. Speak to the women out there about what's going to happen when you're single and successful and 40.
I mean, I was on that trajectory of being single and successful. I was running startups. Listen, there's a certain point in your life where you've reached the amount of success that you could possibly reach in your life. And I'm speaking on through my experience and just seeing my friends in the space, in the entrepreneurial space, and like running businesses and whatnot. Like, you can do that to a certain extent, but at some point, biology kicks in, and that desire to want to have at least a baby, not necessarily get married, but at least wanting to have a baby. I know friends that are successful founders and CEOs that have frozen their eggs for the last, I don't know, I have 6 girlfriends that I used to be friends with that have frozen their eggs. And it's just the reality. Like, you gotta prepare for these things, but I don't know, I was using different copes like alcohol and other antidepressants and stuff like that to basically keep pushing forward and trying to fight for my seat at the table and be like Randy Zuckerberg and like the whole lean in movement. So I would say that if you're a woman out there and you think right now, like, oh, I'm in my 20s, everything's going well, like I'm working my way to the top, yada, 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 like that same energy that you're putting towards your job, like maybe start thinking about your fertility, maybe start thinking about, do I want to be married? Is that something that my 35-year-old self could see. You know what I mean? Because when you're 20 and everything's fun and tight and fresh and like guys are paying for things around you and you're just like living the best life, cool. But once you hit 28, 29, you're like, these guys are not beckoning me. Like, they're not asking for me. They're not getting my number. Like, things dry up. The Botox is not enough. The filler is not enough. The BBLs are not going to get you to happiness. That's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of women go down that path and end up being miserable women that tried to make other women miserable. And that's just my 2 cents.
And that breath of fresh air that you did on that one episode, you're like,
listen.
Jesus/James, take the wheel.
Being a housewife, you know, comes with certain ups and downs too. Like, for some women, I still make YouTube content. Like, I'm still doing something. I have a hobby. I do, like, I like, I don't know, teach my daughter how to say words. Like, she's actually saying complete sentences now at 1 year old. So like, I'm doing things that drive, like, that give me a purpose, and that's something that we have to think about as well. Because like, if you're just a bored housewife, you're going on TikTok spilling all your tea about your husband and then possibly getting divorced.
Yeah. All right. Well, respect to you. Respect to James for being here. I remember when I had to teach somebody how to use sentences and read, and her name's Natalya. Look at her now.
Look at me. I'm doing well.
She's killing it.
Good
right
job,
there.
Sos.
All right, we got one last story left. I have a bunch of stories here, so we could talk about silver foxes. We could talk about simping, ain't easy. We could talk about men and women and their money, or we could talk about traditional wives. We could talk about withholding sex from your man. How about this simping one right here?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. All right, let's play this video. Women, men, gentlemen. So I'm sorry we couldn't get to the rest of the stories. We'll wrap this story up, and then we'll do the happy ending, and we'll do our thing. We'll have some cake. We'll have some cake. Okay. If you need a master class on how not to operate for your woman, watch this video right now. Let's see if we can play this, and can we expand it and get the volume up. Women, men, here he is.
Oh, I got it.
Sorry we couldn't get to the rest. Okay.
Oh, she's listening to some lo-fi.
All right, let me do that again. So can I start over?
Yeah, go
So if you need a master class on how not to operate with a woman, watch this simp right here. Go ahead. This video right now. Let's see if we can play this, and can we expand it? We gotta start over?
No, go ahead. Ready?
Go ahead. Start the video over again. Oh, here he goes. He's singing to his girl. She's like, oh, dude, what are you doing, homie? Can we turn the volume up? Then her actual boyfriend shows.
This is fake. This has to be fake.
Tranquilo.
Those tears don't look fake, buddy. He got a cowboy hat. He's like,
Tranquilo, tranquilo ya.
Tranquilo, amigo, calm down.
Yo, you know that's his friend posting that footage,
Yeah,
right?
even if it is fake, which I don't know. If that is that, nominate Hector for an Oscar right there, because he was killing that thing. So how about this? We'll ask the ladies. Clearly, that is the worst approach that you can do to show interest in a woman. That is the exact opposite of playing it cool.
I mean, I don't know. I think I would kind of like to be serenaded. Obviously,
Really?
please make sure that I'm single, because it's just weird if you're,
But
Okay.
like that?
Yeah.
You want to be serenaded like that?
I mean, he was crying because he was sad.
But you want to be serenaded like that?
No, he has
Okay,
to have a
no.
little bit more
You
game.
don't want to be serenaded like that.
So how about
You want
this?
to be serenaded rose petals, and it's special for you, not out your house, and then your real man comes walking out like, what's going on? No, you don't want to be serenaded.
Okay.
Stop playing, girl. Don't do that.
Listen, Nat is speaking from experience, okay? She's got
Don't do
dudes with ukuleles out there, with fucking guitars and violins. with stereo boxes.
Yes.
She's upstairs with her man.
Oh my gosh.
I think when it comes to things like this, there's never a bad action. It has to be at a certain level of like mutual interest.
Correct.
That's
Like
correct.
so there are like I will kill myself for ever doing it. But if I were to ever to do anything like that to Melina, she would die. She'd love it. She would. And I bet you're...
'Cause you
for
live
any girl-
together.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and because because it would show extreme humiliation and embarrassment on my part. And like
Yes.
I'd be making the effort to do some
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
shit. But if it's like some girl that it's like, I just went out on my second date with her and I'm going to get her with this next time.
Yeah,
like, that's
no.
like red flag as
No.
fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's
you're
a lot of
saying that
things you
this
can
is
do, but-
appropriate if you're dating someone and you have something going
That
on.
connection,
To
for
show that
sure.
level of interest is actually a turn on.
Yeah, when you date
So if I'm fighting with my girl right now, we're not talking whatever, and I show up and I'm like playing the violin, and you're saying that's a good look?
It could be.
Yes, you
I
ladies
think so.
agree?
No.
It's goofy.
Okay,
I have
Rebecca.
A story. I have a story.
Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
So when James and I first started dating, we lived in New York. And so I lived in Astoria, he lived in Brooklyn. So we would meet in the city, right? And so we have to go opposite ways, but at 34th Street or like just like these stations where you can literally see the opposite track.
Yeah.
He would say like, "Hey girl, what's up girl? I see you." And like other people would be around me, right? And I would be shy, like I'd be like, "What is he doing?" Or he would like blow me kisses and stuff like that from the other side of the track, but I was already invested, like I was already in it. He had hooked me already,
Yes.
right? So to me, I thought that was super attractive. I thought it was cool that other people were looking and, like
You were getting the
I was
butterflies.
getting catcalled
Yes.
by the guy that I wanted to get catcalled from.
Is it just
Okay?
me getting like flowers in the office from like your boyfriend that you love versus like a guy that saw you from across the street?
Yeah, that's like
Gotcha.
yeah.
But one is really
Once he's
endearing,
got
and you
his
want to
hooks
show it
in
to your
you,
friends. You're like,
once
look at
he's
this.
got his
yeah.
hooks in you and you feel some type of way, then
And you
nothing's
can-
off limits. The
you can
singing, the
usually
flowers, the
gauge that.
catcalling.
Even if
But if Pedro over there is just went out on one date with her and he shows up at her doorstep
Right.
and he's singing, it's like, oh yeah, cringe fest right there.
Yeah.
So what is? I guess the question is this: let's just say, granted, I totally understand if you've already been together, you're dating, you've had sex, the whole thing. It's like, then just pull out all the stops. But if there's, you just started dating, there's some mutual interest, but there's nothing official. How should the man play it ideally? Should he put his cards out on the table? Should he kind of play it cool? What do you think, Brody?
Be a human being. Like,
Yeah, you can't just be a human
that
being,
likes
Brody.
other
Give me
people.
something better than
Hey, I
that.
had a really
Be
great
yourself.
time.
Just be yourself. No, don't be
No,
yourself.
it's not about being
Yourself
yourself.
is a
It's about
psychopath.
like not overthinking it. It's not like I can't text her because I went out with her last night. Had a
Oh,
great
yeah.
time. Like text me when you're free. It's really not that hard.
No, Destiny and I, as dudes, realize
When
we
you're,
gotta-
okay, when you're in the courting stages, the beginning stages of a relationship, there's a constant. You've got like the amount of affection that you show, and the amount of affection that you have for the person, and it's a kind of a game of ratcheting it up back and forth, back and forth. So maybe you ask somebody out to dinner, and then maybe you like offer to take them home. You give them a kiss at the doorway, they return a kiss. Maybe you like text the next day, you ask if they want to go out again and watch a movie. Maybe and then come over, and they come over. Maybe you have sex, right? It's this type of thing. But if you start too hard, even if they do have a high level of affection for you, I think that there's red flags. I think for women especially, probably for men too though, there are red flags that will go off. If you have a really cool date with a guy and it was a really good experience, it was fun, and the guy sends you a message, he's like, that was cool, like let's do it again like next Friday or something. Or even like, fuck it, I really liked it, let's hang out tomorrow. That's okay. But if you get like a 3-page text from a guy that you've been on one date with and he's like, listen, I really think you might be like the one, and I know this, and I know it's fast, but like I love you so much, we got along really well, and it was so cool.
Nat's over there throwing a peace sign out
Yeah,
over there.
you're gone.
She's
even if
gone,
you had a
yeah.
really good time, even if you really liked the guy, and even
Yes.
if in another world, even if he would have shut the fuck up and you would have gone that path, him saying that early sets off all sorts of red flags. But it's the same with women too, right?
Yeah.
Even as a guy, if you go out on a date with a woman and she's texting you like, oh my God, like this is so cool. You said your parents live nearby, right? Like we should go like hang out with them sometime, blah, blah. And you're like, bro, I just met you like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Even for guys, like this is like the one piece of thing I was always saying.
You know who
being
I'm
like,
thinking of right
I
now?
know you're
Yeah.
thinking of.
being really clingy
I
and
got
coming
one of
off like
those.
that is like the ultimate like for guys or girls to do that. It's a really bad thing to do.
Yeah, not
Just
getting
be
the hint.
cool. Be cool.
Be cool, baby. All right, last question. So when a woman is done, they say when a woman is done, she's done. She's moved on. Is that true? And if so, and if not, how can a man get his girl back? Asking for a friend.
Oh no.
Just kidding. Just a joke. Total joke. Asking for a friend. No, I'm kidding. When a woman, no, because I've obviously been in relationships, and I've been in a situation where the girl that I've mentioned a few times, we were engaged, we were on again. It was the most up, down, left, right relationship. And I got her back, even though she eventually was done with me, and now it's done. But the point is, I've had experience with this. But when a woman is done, like, is she done? Or is there still some wiggle room for the guy to come back in and win her over? Thoughts, ladies?
I think it's all very depending on the circumstances. I've gone back to exes before, all to my detriment, most likely. But you know,
To your detriment.
Most likely.
Okay.
It's like wasting time when.
How did he get you back?
Just waiting for the vulnerable spot. Hey,
He was waiting in the bushes with the vulnerable spot, not singing out to
A shoulder to cry on.
a shoulder to cry on. Thank you, Destiny, with the callback of the night.
That's good.
Shoulder to cry on. Okay.
But otherwise, I think it doesn't benefit either party to go back to a relationship that's not
To
working.
run back.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think men can. The way you can tell a woman is done is that she's cold. Like, she doesn't want to be around. You can tell a woman's like disdain for you in a sense that like she doesn't text you the same. Like, if you guys are in that dating stage, right? Like the courting, going back and forth. If she's not texting you in full sentences, she's saying no, yeah, okay, like, or she's just like replying with emojis. She's not into you. She's not into it. She's done. She's moved on, right? But if you're married, and I look at it through like a marriage lens, if you're married and your wife has completely like shut you out, she's done with you, you can still repair that marriage. You just have to go through counseling. You have to put in the effort. You actually have to communicate what's going on within the relationship. Even if you're dating for a long time, I think that you can reconcile these relationships through just having these open, honest conversations with one another, saying what you expected, what your expectations, wants, desires are on each side, and be like, you're not meeting that for me, you know, and not using language like, you never do that, or you always do that, or, you know.
The blanket statements never work.
Yeah, but, and also like.
Did I just use one right there?
But if you guys don't know how to communicate with one another, it's just, any relationship will fail, whether you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage or even.
Guys, there's that word again. Communicate.
Cringe.
I know, so hard.
Us
It's
guys
really
out
hard.
here are like, we gotta communicate and talk more.
Yeah,
Okay,
and not.
yeah,
and-
yeah. That's what you said. Yeah.
But I will say, as a woman, it's really easy to be like, you're not doing this, and I'm not, like, I'm perfect in all my regards. Like, no, you have to own where you messed up or your own faults, and hear what that person genuinely has to say about where you're lacking or where you're not putting in what you're not putting into the relationship, right? We could have talked about sexless marriages because I have been talking about that topic, but it's like it's leading
That was
towards,
one of the topics we could have talked about, but we got to wrap this thing up. We got to pay some bills. Flo, final thoughts. Can a man, is it when a woman's done, is she done? Can a man get her back? How does it work?
I think when someone is done, they are done, but I do believe there will always be wiggle room regarding to the level of intimacy that you had with that person. And I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about you get to know that person behind the scenes. They get to know you behind Sosnick. They got to see you, how you were at home. They got to smell your farts. They got to see your drool. They got to, you know what I mean? It's like, even though you may fart in liquid gold, cool, congratulations, but it's like there's always gonna be that memory that you have, that memory that you have with that person, and sometimes memories are things that don't just fade away. You know, maybe you could be done with the person, but you can say, damn, I had that good memory with them. And if they take on that moment and it's the right moment and I'm vulnerable or whatever the case may be, there's wiggle room, and vice versa. I
Okay,
believe.
guys, so there's a chance out there. Nat, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I think whenever kind of what Flo said, when you have a past with someone, there's always that emotional, somewhat attachment. I think when you're done with somebody, it's just a decision you have to make, and then you have to follow that with your actions. I think there's always that little bit of, I had a point where we had a moment together with you, but again, I think it's a decision, and then that's when you start to act cold, and you start to, kind of show them like this is done. But I do think if an ex comes back and you're in a place where you are vulnerable, your level of accepting them back is a lot higher than maybe going to a stranger. So
Shoulder to cry on.
Shoulder to cry on. There you go, guys.
Do it.
So that's my feedback.
I feel
there.
like when it comes to getting back with exes, there's like two ways a relationship can end. If it ends like in a catastrophic, like a big event, I think there's a higher chance that you can go back and make it work because maybe it was just like one stupid thing, depending on how crazy it was. But if you've got a relationship that's like fading out over time, there's probably a lot of resentment that's building because of a lot of collections of different types of behaviors. It's way harder to go back to those. You probably need more time. Like if somebody gets stupid and gets wasted and hits on a friend or something, hopefully not more serious, something like that, it's like, okay, whatever. But if it's like a collection of like, this guy doesn't do this, he never responds to my fucking text, he can't fucking put his clothes in the hamper, he can't fucking, it's like thing after thing. Like it's way harder for them to be like, oh no, like I can change, like because you have to do way more work to get those back. I think so. I think it really depends.
You're not
on
changing. There's a laundry list, no pun intended.
So that's like one of those things where like maybe when
you
you meet again in 5 years, if they have like changed those things, maybe. But
Have
I
you
think if it's
ever
been like a
seen-
slow burn out, I don't
You ever
think.
seen the movie The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer
Yes.
Aniston? Do you think they ended up getting back together at the end when they ran into each other after all
I
the shit they
know.
were dealing with?
I don't know.
Kind of ended that way.
Yeah.
Probably to get back together. Anyway, this has been awesome, guys. 100th episode. We can have some cake on air or off camera?
Off camera.
Off camera?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sorry.
Anyway, for Flo, you've never been here, but at the end we do what is known as the happy ending. Oh, before we do the happy ending, we got some super
I
chats.
do have some super
Okay, so
chats.
before we do this happy ending with the super chats, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll go to them right here. First, we got Beaten Cheeks. We saw you were in the chat. Appreciate you, Beaten Cheeks. He said, "Hola, I
That's
just
Nat's
tuned
favorite
in."
guy.
We just tuned in. Hope you guys are good. Bye, Nat. Bye. Then we have, we need a Destiny and Adam show. I like that.
Ooh.
Then we have Gina. Even two great people cannot be right for each other. People change. Some people don't, and that's the worst somehow. But she isn't trying to find better than Tom. She's trying to find someone who isn't Tom. Then we have another one. Sending love and peace to Brody. Thank you for sharing. Don't feel ashamed. They're exposing their true colors in the world. Respect. And then we have Marcus. You guys are thinking about behaviors as static when coming up to percentage of women that view men as wallets. It's probably a phase or a behavior of young women that changes over time. So that's it for the chats. Thank you all for the chats today. I didn't get through all of them, but I did read a majority of them. So we appreciate you guys all. And of course, like the video, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. And all of you have stayed to the end of the episode for the 100th episode. Thank you. We appreciate you. And let's go to Sauce's favorite part, the happy ending.
Yeah, it is.
I know it is.
Well, I 100th episode. We've been doing this for 2 years now, not 12 years like Destiny. But one day, if I work hard enough, and I live in America, and I just keep on keeping on,
The land of the free, the only country with podcasts. Thank
the
God.
only
Yes.
country with podcasts.
Yes, amen.
Maybe one day, I could become a good-looking man with blue hair, with red, white, and blue on his face shortly when the cake ends up.
Maybe.
Only in America, as they say. But during the happy ending, everyone gets a chance to say what's on their mind, give a plug for what they got going on, where they want to be found, and then a final message that they want to do. Brody, I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
We started off today's episode with something that I know you probably wanted to get off your chest, and I think you're better for it. I think we're all better for it. And I think now you're free. So congratulations to you. What's on your mind? What do you want to get off your chest that you haven't already done, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Meirabrody. It's spelled Meirabrody. And honestly, I did not expect to speak about that at all today. Was completely...
Neither did we. It was breaking news.
Yeah.
It's not like I was like, hey, for my 100th episode, could you bust Andrew Tate out of jail? That'd be really great.
Has been like the topic I've avoided addressing for the longest time. So,
Yes.
it is what it is. History is a history, and life is life, and life is good ultimately. So that's all I have to say.
Clap it up for Brody for being a brave woman.
Stop it.
Okay. Rebecca, you brought your husband. Finally, I've been asking to meet James.
I know.
Cool dude out here. We're going to have some cake after this. We're going to get you to 100,000. We're going to play our part.
Yes.
We're going to play our role. For all of you guys watching right now, Rebecca Barrett, she's at 90-something thousand. We need her at 100,000 ASAP. Subscribe. And have your women in your life subscribe so she can kind of give them some knowledge on how they can be good wives and mothers. Go ahead, Rebecca. What you got?
I mean, what can I say?
How can you follow that?
No, I'm happy that I could be here. Thank you for inviting me for your 100th episode. This is awesome. I've been a regular on the show, and I'm grateful that I can share this message to more people out there. And if you're a woman and you're stuck in your ways and you've been following a certain path for a long time and you're not getting the results that you want, a husband, kids, if that's what you want, right? You can follow me on YouTube at Rebecca Barrett. I give good advice on marriage. I do educational reaction videos. And yeah, there's another path. There's another way of life if you want to explore that. And I'm just so grateful that I can be here with my husband, that he came down, took the day off, came down with me. That is called presence. That is called presence. That's how you maintain a marriage. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. And I'm grateful for my mom who let us leave the baby.
Thank you, Mom, for watching that baby. You're like, oh shit, I forgot to get the baby.
Yes.
Flo in the house. Thank you for being here. Your first time. Hopefully this is not your last time. We've enjoyed it.
Please.
The El Salvadorian beauty queen. Where can the people find you? What do you want the people to know about you?
Bueno, lo voy a decir en español porque soy bilingüe, soy latina y estoy muy feliz de estar acá. Muy feliz. Thank you so much, Nick, for having me.
Adam, man, she said my last name. I get it.
Oh, okay.
I did. I meant to say Sosnick.
She was calling me Sosnick all day. I get it.
I said Nick. Sorry, I apologize.
It was
It's
the Spanish.
live. It is yeah, the Spanish. It happens sometimes. Adam Sosnick.
Hey, if you say my name like that, you can mess it up as much as you want.
Bueno, sí, nos equivocamos un poquito, pero estoy muy emocionada y muy agradecida de estar acá. I'm very grateful for the opportunity of being here. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Miss Florence Giselle. It's a little long, but I promise that aside from the pretty photos from modeling, I also love to spread positivity on there and remind people that they have a purpose, because the day of tomorrow is not promised. The next 5 seconds are not promised, and you matter. You have a purpose. You are not in this world just because. And I think that once we know that and we are aware of that, we start to find a little bit of positivity on our day-to-day. So
look at that good-looking shot right there of Destiny and Florence right there. Look on the TV screen right there.
Okay, so I'll say fuck you for putting me next to the tallest woman I've ever seen on the show before. Okay. Number one.
You're upset that she's tall and gorgeous?
Well, I'm just,
5'11", boo-boo.
she should sit right there,
Future
right
Miss
next
Universe.
to you.
I just figured.
5'11", what is that, 4 inches taller than you? She should be over there, yeah.
I'm 6 foot, buddy. We'll go back to back right now.
6 foot, is that in European measurements? Anyway, Instagram.com.
This is why I invite Destiny out here to roast me on my 100th episode. Thank you, Destiny.
Instagram.com/Destiny, YouTube.com/Destiny, Rumble.com/Destiny.
Oh, you're on Rumble now.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't look that short compared to her right there. I think
Thank
that's
you
all in
so
your
much.
mind.
Wow.
I think you look great.
It's
Thank
the
you.
glasses, Destiny. Look.
Okay, yeah.
By the way, you do speak Spanish.
You're making it worse.
Muy poquito.
Muy poquito. Okay. Destiny, you crushed it on Tim Pool's podcast yesterday. That was great.
Thanks.
What else you got coming up in the works right now?
Depending on how quickly I drive, I might do Fresh and Fit tonight. We'll see.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
Hopefully
Natalya, any final thoughts?
Yes, quickly. First, I want to say thank you all for joining us today on the podcast as guests. Thank you for, speaking your mind and giving us your perspective and being vulnerable in some areas. That's really appreciated, especially for our 100th episode. And I just want to say congrats, Sos. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You put in the work. I'm giving you eyes from the outside. I'm somebody who sees you put in the work. I'm somebody who sees you the long hours. I see the work, the love you have behind the company. company, and I see it from that perspective. So I'm very proud of you. I am grateful that you allow me to be a part of your journey and your process and be your co-host. And as you can see, I've been working on my reading skills so that I can stay here with you,
your reading skills
and
are
go to 200th episode. So thank you and
I
congrats.
appreciate that. Should I pull the destiny and be like, fuck you, don't give me a
Yeah,
compliment?
yeah.
Or just say thank you, and I appreciate that.
Do what Sauce Man would do.
By the way, I do like that idea of destiny being around more. We had this like
I
love-hate
like
thing
it.
going on that I really respect. I don't know.
I like it.
No?
I just thought it was just hate. No.
Just hate. This is what I do. I invite destiny. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. 100th episode. I look forward to doing 100 more, 1,000 more. I think we're just getting started here at Valuetainment. Next week, we're going to have a live audience here for PBD Podcast. Rudy Giuliani, Dave Rubin are going to be here. Some big stuff going on. I think Destiny will be backstage. Oh, we got some strobe lights. Destiny, don't have an epilepsy situation going on here. Just keep it cool. But I really, more than anyone, you know who I appreciate the most? You guys at home. Because you guys watch every single week. We're delivering value and some of that attainment that we like here at Valuetainment. And we genuinely want to see you guys out there get paid, laid, and do it your way. So keep keeping on and save that money and enjoy your weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do this weekend in South Beach. Okay? Peace out. We're out of here. Bye.